start streaming as well. Hello, me.
Hello, let me
How are you
finish it
doing?
first.
Don't wait. You can just eat it on air. No problem. Nobody of them who will watch will mind. Trust me. They will just look at your bright red lips.
Thanks.
Because you can look at Jet. You can see them from a mile away. So everything's in place. Everything's good. Yeah. So tell me, how's it going?
So.
How come?
How is the business practice in Latvia about audit?
About what?
Auditing. Like when you have the business, do you really need the auditor to help you to audit the whole process?
It's just subjective. I think we talked about it, right? That you asked me about whether or not you need it, and then as far as I remember, we spoke that well, you can do it, but do you have any considerations? Why would you actually need it?
Because all the documents are in Latvian.
So
I have no idea what is what, and I need somebody to cross-check and make sure all things are correct.
well, it's just a broader spectrum of needs then. If you need documentation that's in Latvian to
It's
be
not
understood.
only the document cross-check in terms of finance and any mistake and the numbers matched together between the order, real product coming to the storage.
But you have legal for that, your accountant, right?
Yes.
So
We need somebody
Actually,
to
well-
check on the paperwork. Is it okay or no? So how
Well-
it is in reality and on the paper.
actually, we could have done a taste test for the gotiņas. Have you eaten those before? Or
Not
did you
yet.
buy them? See, it was your first time, right? Yeah. So go ahead, take another one. I want to see how it looks when foreigners taste Latvian food. Simply because I think it's a great segment. Because people always like to.
But it's
see
really horrible
people
with
eating.
balsam.
What balsam?
Balsam.
Oh, you mean the balsam is terrible?
How do you feel about balsam?
I
Like
don't like
all
it. I
Latvian
don't
love
do
it?
No, I wouldn't say that.
Because
I think nobody drinks it really. It's just for tourists.
Oh, really?
Well,
Because I think
I-
like Latvian really love it, so I just buy it for everybody, and everybody said that, oh, it's so horrible, oh my goodness.
it's cough medicine. It's something you would drink maybe if you have a cold. But it's really not that tasty. So
Like it look like the pride of Latvian.
I think it's just nostalgia, simply because it used to be the case that most USSR tourists came and wanted black balsam, simply because they didn't have anything similar, but I think they had. So yeah, it was just for the tourists. It was really a tourist attraction.
Really?
Yeah,
No,
it's a in the 21st century.
I have it in Bauska and Etsava, so I sell it to
Oh
local
wait a second,
people.
you sell it and well look, here's the thing. I know that it's being used in several recipes for drinks.
Yeah, like ice cream and or
So
put it in the coffee.
So
or-
regarding those things, yeah, maybe there's a market, but somebody who would just straight from the bottle drink it, I don't know anybody who does that. I know sometimes people drink it with some coffee or something
Yeah,
like that. I don't know.
ice cream or
So
coffee. or
let's just show the camera what you will be eating. Gotiņas.
What does it mean?
Well, it's a diminutive form of the word cows. So the dairy cows. I'm not sure whether or not English has the same type of what's it called? I'm not sure. Well, I'm not sure whether or not it's the same for the English language, because the plural of cows, well, a cow is cows, but when you would like to say it in a more lovely way, you would call them something else, but I'm not sure whether or not the English language has that.
Just in Latvian. Oh my goodness, with grammar. It's just in Latvian language only.
No,
But
no.
that's kind of complicated.
German language has that as well. I think Czech as well. Many languages do have them, especially those who have the same, what's it called, diacritical signs. I think those commas between the what's it called? You know what I mean. You probably know what I mean. Let's say the small stripes above the what's it, not syllables. Fell out of my head. So what I mean is the signs above or below the letters. Yes, the letters. So for instance, my surname, right? It has one of those above the C. I think those languages have them especially, but doesn't Vietnamese language has?
We have a lot.
In the sense that you can say, this is a small child, and this is a small childie, or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. See. All right. How do you like those cowies?
It's nice.
What could you compare it to? Do you know anything similar in Vietnam?
Lu from France, right?
What?
Lu, L-U, from France.
What is Lu? A
So
brand?
The brand name is Lu.
So
L-
are those just biscuits? Oh, and
It's good.
they're similar. So it's just
Milky. And
vanilla type biscuit. Nothing original there.
But like people got really good feedback about lime chocolate.
Are you sure?
Yeah. I always take it as a gift to my friends.
It seems to me that nowadays all chocolates are similar.
They have something like handmade and
Hmm?
homemade chocolate or handmade chocolate and
Lime?
no sugar, some options like that.
That's a terrible chocolate then, without sugar. That should be just terrible.
Healthy and trendy, fashionable.
What are you talking about? Have you eaten a cocoa bean by itself? It tastes horrible. It's just horrible. You wouldn't have guessed that out of that comes something
You mean
so
the
delicious.
green cola?
No, I mean a real cocoa bean from what they make chocolate, cocoa butter, and the cocoa powder, right? Yeah, the cocoa bean is just terrible. It's real terrible. It's really bitter. It's poison. I would call it poison straight up. But once you add sugar to it,
You are a fan of sweet things.
yeah, for sure. I think everybody is.
No, not me.
I think you are. You just ate 2 vanilla sugary type biscuits. I think you are. But what about black balsams and balsam? Do you say that
We have black and violet balsam.
is that
for women.
the berry some type
Yeah,
some
something
type
like
of
that.
berry?
I think we have 3-4 flavors.
I think they
we can
only have
sell it.
2.
We can sell it really good. The big bottle, the small one, and small one.
And so local people are buying those.
Yes.
Wow. See, I don't know a lot of people then, because I really don't know anybody who drinks that stuff. I just know that for tourists it's always the case to
Yeah, I always buy it.
suggestions to get lime chocolate and
Yes,
to get
and
black balsams.
balsam.
It's just a really long tradition in a
They
way.
also drink vanilla Tallinn.
That's for Estonia. That's for Estonia, yeah, sure. Other than that, it seems to me everything is the same now.
Do you know that there is 2 more alcohol outlet shops in Bauska?
And you mean your competitors?
Yes. Wow, and they are both big one. They
Wow.
are in the other side,
I mean,
the
it's-
opposite of the bus station.
I would say it's terrible, because it means just people are drinking alcohol more.
I think that you mean that it's horrible to my business.
Actually, but you don't drink really yourself, right?
No.
Yeah, because that's
Like
that's
just
that-
once per week or something like
that's
that.
that's a thing. An Indian guy once told me he's oh, you hooligan. An Indian guy once told me, no, this way, since the An Indian once told me that in India, I'm not really sure whether or not he told me that it's. I think it would be permitted under Hindu religion, right? But still they don't really drink it, but they definitely sell it to everybody who is willing to buy. And so and he told about one dude who was really really wealthy, and he was just saying, well, it's forbidden or something like that. It's really immoral or something like that. So, and then he got asked, well, what about your clients? Well, they don't have the same principles, so good luck to them in a way. So if they buy, I sell. So it seems to me you are similar.
Yeah, lots of my friends said, no, it's not nice business. It's not like community.
Well, a business is business.
Contribution.
Business is business.
So I said, if you want charity, do somewhere else. So business is business. If you don't do anything illegal, then it's okay.
It's just that the interesting fact that even though alcohol, I mean, even your alcohol must be somewhat expensive. I mean, compared to any food item, it's a luxury almost for some people, and still. It's just because you don't probably sell. Do you sell also really cheap alcohol?
Because it really works for small city like Etava and Bauska.
Well, you mean like I don't know,
like
really cheap beer? You
like
have that as well.
€1, something like that. 5 liters of wine in the box.
Yeah, boxed
So
wine.
we have all.
Boxed wine is pretty popular all over. That's for sure. So, but do you taste it? Well, how do you know what to sell actually? How do you know which items will sell or not?
Recommendation by the supplier.
But
supplier will
why
recommend.
Why would the supplier tell you something isn't
because
selling?
he want to. You mean is the best seller or you cannot sell it?
No. I mean when I'm a supplier and I have a certain amount of alcohols, I would like to actually sell them all to you. Why would I go and tell you, well, look, these 2 out of 10, these don't sell well, don't take them.
Because if I cannot sell them, you will also lose your business.
But
so better you give me the best advice, otherwise I will take your competitor.
But he wouldn't stock anything that wouldn't sell in the first place, right?
He should. Otherwise I will say goodbye to him. So he should be like a little bit honest. Of course, he will bullshit you a little bit, but better he tell the truth and good advice, so that I will listen to him.
So he provides you everything that sells. Nothing is on the shelf.
Because I can return it back.
Oh, you mean they take it back in a extended period? What is the period then?
I think for beer, most of the time is for beer. For the expiry of the wine and vodka is quite long. And it seems like we never return them back.
So wait a second.
So at the beginning, we take just a little bit.
Yeah.
And then after 1 to 3 months, we know what we can sell, what we cannot.
So you mean that you take the beer and you sell it before you can actually
return it before it's expiring.
Oh, you need to, good.
Or we just have like 4 bottles, then we put discount and then go on.
Do you have also different profit margins on different items?
Totally different. It's so surprising me that for cigarette we had 0%.
For what?
Cigarette.
For cigarettes?
Yeah.
How much?
0.
Euro.
Yeah, 0%. No profit any on in cigarette.
Well, if you don't have any profit on cigarettes, why would you sell them?
Because like it's a mass product. That will draw attention.
Just an attraction?
Attraction, somebody to come to you.
Really?
Yes.
But how come? Well, you would be able to sell them for
and
more.
Nobody wants you because I'm next to Maxima. I should be like lower price than them, or at least same price with them. And Maxima is quite big guy.
So are you the same price as Maxima?
Much lower. So that's why our position.
Also dumping then. It's just dumping from your side. to be competitive with. But why would you actually, if you are next to Maxima and you sell cheap alcohol, then it
Not
would,
cheap alcohol, the same alcohol but cheaper price. So
well, yeah,
our
cheaper
position is that why should you go to mine, not to Maxima? First, you have more choice because we have like thousands.
That's what I'm saying. You don't really
and-
need the cigarettes to attract those people, do you?
And cheaper price, and people don't want to be look like you are drunker. Your neighbor will. You are in the line in the cashier in Maxima, and people look at you. Oh, you do nothing, just drink. So people don't want to be in the line for 10 minutes and then wait, and your neighbor look at you because we are in small city. We know each other. You guys do nothing, just drink.
Nah,
Then they prefer to be in my shop, drive it, quiet, take and go. Nobody will look at you. Easy, fast.
How did you come up with that?
We just do some
scenario?
research and ask, why do you come to my shop? What do you like most? Do you like my girl? And how about the hair of the girl? Does it make you really annoyed? So they normally said like, I feel like my house. I come here, say hello to the girls, and like I need some advice. So they give me lots of feedback. And some people said, oh, I really hate that girl. She look like the big boss, blah, blah, blah.
Who looks like a big boss?
The cashier girl.
Ah,
Some of my staff. So we got lots of feedback from everybody.
yeah.
How do you like it? Why do you like it? Why don't you like it? How do you think? And we also got the feedback from suppliers. Suppliers also said, hey, look at that shop. They cannot do anything. Oh, this month that shop can get a lot from us, blah, blah, blah.
You mean they talked about other
My
shops?
competitors.
Other
Yeah.
shops that didn't sell well.
Yeah, that's why they hate us.
So you are saying that your key to success is the atmosphere?
Atmosphere, good price, and all my girls are really beautiful and sexy, really nice and charming, and talking to people, give good advice. And when you come to my shop, you feel really relaxed, especially you are a man.
So you want guys to get drunk?
Yeah? Off.
So are you saying that the cigarettes are the least? Well, they are nothing for profit, right?
Secret, yeah.
Yeah, but beer wouldn't be much bigger, right? Or is it?
It depends on Maxima and Remy.
You mean if they have any
Like they
outlets?
have like really good price, then we cannot put like 20% anymore, then we down to 10%, and then they are down again, and then we go to down lower. So we adjust it all the time. Be flexible.
Who does the day-to-day management there?
Undis,
Ah. Does he drink?
not much.
Really?
Like once per 2 weeks or once per month.
Oh. Because it would be ironic to have a regular drinker manage a alcohol shop. All right. What else in the news for you? What's up with the restaurant at
So yesterday,
by the church?
yesterday I have the immigration policeman visit the restaurant.
Policeman?
Yeah,
Oh, the inspector?
something like that. But I
Alright.
think like immigration policeman.
I've never heard of
they,
any policemen regarding immigration.
They
It's
just
just an
come and
inspector.
they ask and they said, how many chef, Vietnamese chef you have, how many you plan to have, and they ask my staff like how many hours you work here, how often you work here, and he come into the kitchen to check. For example, when he comes, I submit to him like we have 10 workers now is working. He got 10 ID. So he come into the kitchen to see whether 12 or 15 or I use any illegal workers, something like
Alright.
that. And then he said, how many?
But he did warn you beforehand, right?
No,
Oh,
just suddenly.
all right.
So he just come. And like my manager said, I don't know. So he asked, how many chefs you plan in next year you will have? So my manager said, let's meet up for a call up for the meeting. I cannot answer all your question. So I will meet them tomorrow.
So you weren't present and they just told them to get to you then. So you will meet them tomorrow to speak about your restaurant?
But it's really funny.
Seems like a hassle. Seems
But,
like a hassle.
but it's really funny. So how can I plan how many chefs I have and plan? Some policemen need to talk about data and figures.
They just need to fill out some formulas for
but
them.
it's really
That's it.
stupid. What is your?
That's probably
It's not
silly.
your business. Nobody
Well,
can
it seems-
plan
it
the
seems-
business, and the plan can be changed tomorrow. So why do you ask me how many chefs I want in next year? And if I tell you 100, and then what? What is the KPI to evaluate?
Nothing.
So why do you need to call up the meeting for
So-
what?
so you can
And if
fill
you want
out
to
the
know
form
how
and-
many chefs I have, then check with tax people. I pay tax there. So I
Well-
really don't know what is the purpose and why.
Oh, actually, wouldn't it be possible that it wasn't actually the immigration office, but it was the employment office?
No, they said that immigration office.
Ah, because actually for illegal foreigners,
Yeah.
I think they check at the employment office as well for that. Because usually, let's say for big construction sites, it used to be the case that they get foreign workers, sometimes illegally, and then they just go, the employment office just goes there to the construction site and checks everybody's ID. So that would be the same in a way.
Mhm.
Foreign
Yeah,
immigrant,
yeah.
but the employment office. Oh well, never mind. So tomorrow you'll get them nailed. So then don't. It's the first time for you, right?
No, always. Sometimes from BVD, sometimes from tax, and
Well, but from the immigration office, it's the first time, right?
no. I think they call me up like for my chef. Oh, I wrote I think like 4 or 5 pages of this one, like where is my chef? Is she still working for you?
Yeah.
When will he arrive at the airport? And what
Oh.
time? What did he do at that night? Where he stay? So I said, and they said,
You see how concerned they are about your well-being?
oh yes,
See what I mean?
thanks God, leave
Yeah.
me alone. Oh my goodness. So they asked really silly questions, something like where they sleep. So I said, I don't
Well-
fucking care. So I just care.
Wait a second,
that-
but you provided some addresses for them, so so you are probably the one who needs to say something.
But it's really funny. As an employer, I don't need to care about where will. And then I ask what time they arrive at the airport, what time they
Because you're
stay
the
in
contact person for them, so that's
but
why
I
they
don't
want
need
to know.
to know when they have sex, when will they go to sleep, where they go sleep,
That,
who
that
they
would
go
be
sleep
that would
with.
that would be a great question.
Yes, I
So,
told straight to the
when-
policeman face.
when will they
I
get
don't fucking
jiggy?
care about who he have sex with. I'm employer, so I need to see whether he can cook or no, and that's it.
Can you imagine it? And the immigration officer just goes, "So you really don't care about them having sex?"
I will not in that.
All right, Missy. All right,
I
Missy.
put in the report, and then you can cite.
Yeah.
Oh, but actually, she's a very nice police girl.
Oh, she's a woman. And speaking fluently
Latvian.
English.
Fluently Latvian.
So what will you do tomorrow?
Always I go with my accountant.
You mean
always.
From Bauska? Oh,
That's why I really love her. She have to answer all the letters from tax, from policeman, from BBD, from everywhere around.
yeah. So she's
Answer,
your
set up the
representative.
meeting. Yes,
She's your
yes,
assistant.
Yes.
She's more than your
So I
accountant.
call her the manager, my manager. So she will handle all.
It's most of the time just called an assistant. You just have an assistant.
Better manager. Like she can manage my life.
Yeah, sure.
It's really funny. When I don't know why, but I drive my car and I hit my house. And
With your,
Undi
you mean
said,
with your car?
yes.
Wow.
Undi said, it can be reasonable and understandable with my daughter of 15 years old, but it's not for you. What did you do?
What did you do?
So he said, send me a photo. So I said, the photo of the car. He said, no, your face. The insurance company want to see your face. Is there anyone who hit the car into the house? So with that kind of stuff, like accidents or everything, I need my manager to deal with the insurance company, to whether I need the photo, how to fill in the form, and when to report, should be 20 hours before or after the accident, or blah, 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 blah. So it's really difficult to settle down here. Do you know it as a foreigner?
To settle down here, it's probably pretty easy.
Nah.
Do you have any comparisons to, let's say, Germany? Do you know anybody who settled down in Germany? Or maybe
in
UK?
UK, Germany, US.
Because I would imagine they have their bureaucracies
No, it's much more because everything is quite clear. And they have the government officer, they experience enough.
Well, they have a bigger populace, that's for sure.
Big population, enough experience, senior people, and also the big Vietnamese community there.
Yeah, that definitely makes it easier. But then when it comes to the stacks of papers, I would imagine they would have more.
Then you have professional
personnel.
Here they really don't know what to do when I go to Bauska about the brand office. They have no idea what they need to do.
So you tell them.
Oh, I don't know. You come to Riga and ask. Oh, I don't know. You come to Riga and ask. I say, hey, listen, I'm here as an investor. I'm not the immigrator and ask for the welfare of your country. I contribute to your country. So don't tell me that, oh, I don't know, go out. I don't know, go.
Well, they are not responsible for investments in general, so why would they care? Even
so
even
don't
if
talk
you
to
would
me
be,
by that way.
Because real investors do it differently.
No, they just use the same voice and tone and manner for all immigrator.
No, I mean, I don't speak about immigration officers or their personnel. I mean, when it comes to investors and the protection of investors' interests in Latvia, most of the time it just goes through the Ministry for Economics or Economy, Ministry for Economy. So it's just a little bit of a different route, because investors, what investors are apart from immigrants, is that they don't really stay, but they just leave their capital here most of the time. So it's just a little bit of different infrastructure for them, and then they can go and say, hey, I'm an investor. You have all those, well, not all those, but many times some either international agreements or whatever. Here's the special policy, because you have even the, what's it called, the political planning for investment for the economy. That's a big part to actually attract, what's it called, foreign FDI, foreign direct investment. So, but that's not you, baby. That's not you. But you could be. Actually, that would be probably suitable to you, because you represent other people as well who are not here, right?
Yeah, but
remember
like
you
I bought the real estate, so they call us investor because we invest in the real estate.
Well, you definitely can say that you invest some money when it comes to property, for sure. It's just that there's a difference between someone who just purchases something to stay and somebody who actually just wants to establish a business to get his capital working in a particular territory. So, but you could definitely be a real-time investor, because you represent different people. How's it going with your? Remember you told me about the Vietnamese guy who wanted to purchase a real estate for many hundreds of thousands. Did you buy anything? Did you find anything? Remember Oh, yeah. I can't remember what was the conclusion at that time.
Actually, we just discuss and go to nowhere. No conclusion yet.
Might be the case. But how come you did? Because it's been a year almost, right? It's been a year.
So it depends. So that is the project that I bought, like 26 flats in Ietava, and Arthur took that one. Remember? And do you remember that Arthur helped me with the document and buying that, like the flats, the whole of the building in Ietava?
Well, if you mean the one where you said that the seller wanted to give you the company so you don't have the problem with the change of ownership, you mean that one?
And Arthur's helped me to do all the documents, and up to now still.
I actually told him that, and he just replied, well, she still thinks that I will be making the documents in a way that the seller. Well, here's the thing. I didn't really go into detail, but he said that the seller wanted to do those documents. The seller messed up in several places, and so he has to actually to correct the seller's mistakes or something like that.
So
And I told him, well, you should probably speak to me then, because she definitely tells it another way.
So, of course, Arthur has to tell me that the mistakes come from the seller.
Well, that's what he said, for sure.
Yes. So what is your function? You are there to check the mistake and make sure no mistake.
You need to communicate with him.
Yeah.
You need to communicate really,
and
really
do you
well.
know that today we
And
also
take some alcohol with you.
and today
to get
we
the
had a
communication
meeting
going.
that we will fix that mistake again, and we will go to notary again. And each time whenever you go to notary, you pay 180 euros, something like that. And I pay for mistake of somebody else, not my mistake. I'm happy to do it as well to show my willingness to you. And still, today we had a meeting, I think at 2. And then at
with
11.
Arthur's?
Yeah, and
In Riga?
no, in Riga with the seller because Arthur is busy.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm there alone. I'm fine too. And then
Because he's your assistant. He has other clients.
yes, of course.
If he would be your assistant, you would be the only client.
And then at
It's
11,
just that you probably don't want to pay him that money to be your assistant.
I'm tired of it all. And
Well,
at
the process
11,
is always-
at 11, he again said that no, the seller makes a mistake again, and then we cancel the notary.
So they did another document, but the document was again faulty?
Yes.
So go ahead and tell the seller to not make any
That's
mistakes.
his job.
I'm
That's
not
his
sure.
job to find out the mistake, where the mistake come from, how to prevent it, and it's time and time, and it's
All right. But
half of a year.
Look, the next podcast we do, I don't want to hear you again like a broken record, because this is at least the third time you tell me this.
But it's still going on.
So finish it.
How come?
I don't know.
He's the
decide.
one who finished it. If the lawyer don't know how to not make the mistake, so how can I know it?
Maybe.
That's why I don't know. That's why
But
I pay.
But look, you didn't cause the mistakes, you didn't cause the delay, but you are responsible of actually solving that delay. So what will you do?
I don't know.
Nguyen,
how.
what will you do?
I don't know how to sort it out. That's why I need a lawyer. If I know to do it by myself, then I do it by myself. I don't need to ask for the help of a lawyer.
Yes.
But why it take
could
a half of a year?
I'm not sure. No, I don't know. Is it really a half a year?
Yeah.
That's too long.
It's really long.
Have you spoken to Liga, or was it Liga?
I just passed the phone number to that girl. And then she talked directly to Liga, but Liga said that she's out of the business.
No. I mean your accountant. What's her name? The oldest wife.
Lena.
Lene. So have you spoken to Lene? Maybe she can help you.
No, it's the lawyer job.
Is it really?
And I pay for lawyers. I don't want to ask for help from somebody else.
Well, maybe it's more efficient. Think about it.
I'm tired of it. So
Well,
I
but
pay
you will-
and then I
But you will get more
cancel.
tired if you don't really have a solution. You'll just get more
Because
tired.
always said, oh, no problem, it will be fine. No problem, it's just some paperwork. And it's on and on and on and on for half of a year. Oh, my goodness. And I
But
pay
wait
so
a
many
second, you
times.
already purchased or no?
Already bet.
What?
Did transfer all the money.
Also, right. You wait a second. But what do you want to actually do at the notary? Because if you purchase the company, you just need to make it at the company registry.
The notary will give you some document, and then you take that document to the company registration organization.
To buy a company? Because you were just buying a company, right? You
Yes.
just buy a company.
I buy the company including the property.
Well, you buy the company with its assets.
Yes.
So the company is already registered in the land book.
Yes.
So you don't want to change that.
No.
So you just want the company
Yes.
under your name.
Yes.
So it's just why would you need a notary then? I don't understand that.
I don't know. That's Arthur's advice. I live on with him. So
'Cause you
I
have,
just tell him whatever
you
you
have
do,
a-
what kinds of document you want, I just want my name.
Because you have a company already registered, which means that your signature is already available at the company registry. They know who you are and what's your signature. They know it. So the other side, the seller, is probably the same. They have all the signatures already submitted to the registry. So when you would actually submit a contract stating that the seller, the former owner of the company, gives you, sells you his company, the total 100 shares, it's done. You don't need a notary, as far as I'm concerned.
I don't know, but like always, like 4 people from the seller come to notary and sign something, and we have lots of document. And we.
Oh maybe it's an issue because maybe they have, let's say, problems with if they have multiple owners, and if they have multiple members of the board, maybe that's one of the problems.
So I took the document from notary, go to the registration center.
What was the document and what document
I
do you
have no
need to go?
idea. In Latvian, and Arthur
last-
said that. Arthur said that. Okay, I'll do this. Own is ready. Let's go to register. We come to register. We wait for 1 month, and they said no, it's wrong document. And go again to the seller, do the document. Go to notary again. I pay 200
so
euro
the company
again.
registry told you that it's something wrong. Well, that may be the case. I mean, sometimes remember when you wanted to register your
But it
company.
cannot be 3, 4, 5 times. As a
It's-
lawyer, you need
it's-
to check like what you want and what is good and what is bad.
When you
and
talk about the company registry, it happens. I mean, I
yes,
definitely
1, 2 times, but it's
I
cannot all
definitely
the
have
time.
had some 3 times as well, because sometimes you just cannot really anticipate what will come up. So you do what you know, and then it turns out something else that nobody really knew. That has definitely come up when you talk about the company registry. That's for sure.
Yeah, remember I had experience with the branch office registration, and I called you, remember, representative's office, and the registration center. They want this and that, and remember, and they said that the name of the company is not the same in own document.
Yeah, because they are really sensitive about it. Even a small
so
difference.
what do you want? So do you want me to change in Latvian?
No.
Do you want me this? That's it. I don't know. Ask your lawyer.
Yeah, see,
you are
that's
the decision maker. If you don't know how to do it in the correct way, proper way, how can my lawyer know it?
No, because many times it's just subjective. I mean, when you have, let's say, the problem with them, let's say when you talk about names, they would look at this name and see that it is actually written out, not just the letters, but the typeface, meaning the size. So if you would type this one like this somewhere, and then afterwards the same word but just a different size, oh, it's not the same words, right? So which one do you want? So choose and make the same.
I don't know. Ask your lawyer.
Well, that's your call. All right, I like this one, so everywhere where you see this, it should be like this. That's it. So it's sometimes just really, it's just silly subjective.
I said to her, how about this solution? I will write the letter in which I confirm this is my name and correct name.
Yeah.
So what do you think about that solution? I don't know. So what do you think?
She's
so
just a
which
clerk.
do you want? What do you want? The Vietnamese name, or do you want the Latvian name, or what do you want? Tell me, I will do. I don't know.
Because it's subjective. It's just a decision.
Ask
Either
your lawyer.
or. It's your choice. Just make sure it's coherent.
Whatever, but it cannot be half of a year for a deal. Especially, I did pay a lot of money and I received nothing in my hand now. That made me really worry. And what will happen if the seller say, okay, I didn't know anything, I didn't sell you anything, I didn't get any money from you, bye.
Then it would be a great return for them to get some money without actually selling anything.
Yeah.
But the possibility of it is small, simply because you already had negotiated that they will sell you their property, their company. So no need to stress, but talk to Lena. I would suggest...
I don't want Lena know all of my business.
No, but see, the difference is this. Arthur makes the legal considerations. Lena could actually provide you with a little bit more in depth, because when she sees the documents, because every accountant can fulfill any form, any procedural tasks any accountant can do. You don't need a lawyer to do that. And the benefit of an accountant is that they actually have knowledge when it comes to either accountancy, either registry work, either communicating with different authorities. They have more in-depth knowledge most of the time if they work actively as an accountant. So if you would say to her, oh look, we have the problem with the company registry, here's the last document that still says we need to wait or whatever, can you take a look at it and maybe you have some suggestions? I would bet you she could, if that's really the company registry that does the delay, that says you cannot do the transaction yet. If that's the company registry, I would bet that Lena could actually advise you how to coordinate it much faster, simply because they probably, she or Aldis just probably know somebody at the company registry in Bauska and could actually talk.
We do it in Riga.
Yeah, but they could actually talk with a representative from there to discuss this matter. Well, what's the issue and how can we fix it for sure, so we don't go back and forth.
Yeah,
but why would you actually be inclined to not let Lena know everything about your business? That seems kind of awkward.
Because like I ask for help from them all the time. So whatever I can do, then I prefer to do by myself.
Yeah, but just appreciate them more, and that's it.
No, it's too much for them. They overload.
It's just a matter of
So all this had to sell even my car tire. He had to change even lubricant in my car. If I had a trip, he has to do this and that even for my car. My window was broken, I call him. Policeman come, I call him. I cannot even deal with the gardener. So he has to find a gardener, do my gardening.
The only difference
my dog.
The only difference is this, that you ask for favors most of the time. Because they get their money working together with you on some projects, but you ask for additional favors when it comes to some personal things. What do you mean?
So we should return in some way.
Yeah, just appreciate them more, whatever that means for them.
I don't want to live the whole of my life on them.
Look, if you are in the situation you are right now, that you are making decent money in Latvia, living in Latvia and working in Latvia, you might as well consider just having a real, true personal assistant. And that's what personal assistants are for. I mean, those are not secretaries. Those are not just some people you can push around. Those are literally professional assistants who can help you manage all those things you mentioned. Precisely those. That's what they're for.
Lena performs really well now, and I'm quite happy with her as well. So I try to get her less overload, and it's just too much for her. And then if I pay for lawyer can do his job, and then I don't need to ask for favor, because it's all the time like that. It's really annoying if somebody just
it's annoying maybe if you leave it on the level as favors. If you talk about getting favors all the time, it might get annoying for you both. If you talk about them just actually having them in a position of being your assistant, and I don't know what that means. Maybe it means paying a salary. Maybe it means helping in other ways of mutual benefit. I don't know, but when it comes to those terms that you actually talk about having a personal assistant and her being a personal assistant, trust me, it's definitely something to consider. It's definitely, because then it's not a favor you ask. It's just a task you give, and it's not anything that makes you unequal as humans. It's just professional personal relationship management. That's it. And she's probably the best person to actually do that for you, because she knows you. You have a personal relationship with her, so it 100% it sounds like a personal assistant that you just haven't really contracted yet as a personal assistant, but you might as well consider that, because you definitely have the lifestyle of someone who would actually need a personal assistant. That's for sure, especially living in a foreign country. That's for sure.
Always others told me that, oh, it's just minor paperwork. Oh, I know where to do it. Oh, don't worry, it's okay. I think it's okay.
And see, so, if you would, in those situations, if you would have a personal assistant, then the personal assistant would actually communicate with Arturs or anyone for that matter, and you might just need every once in a while to get some updates from your personal assistant. What's up? Because the personal assistant would know already what you want regarding that case. You want to be the owner, you know the result, and she knows the result you want. So she wouldn't actually bother you with all the details, day-to-day delays or anything like that. She would just keep you updated. But since she would be a personal assistant to you, and if she has a sense of responsibility, she would actually be, well, speaking, let's say, psychologically, she would actually be more interested in actually pushing the thing to go forward. Because most of the time people think when they represent somebody else, most of the time they think more
proactive.
Well, more forceful, because then it's just a professional relationship. Look, she already told me this, we need to get this done, no excuses, no whatever. Whereas if you talk straight, it was just
personal.
All right, yeah. So I think, yeah, for at least for business relations, it definitely helps to have someone in between that's actually just almost the same as you, but see in the right places is directly not you. It's really just a third person and speaks like a third person on your behalf. It might be something to consider for sure. I'm just not sure. I'm just not sure what actually Liena thinks about you. Maybe if you would propose to her to be her personal to be your personal assistant, she would just jump out of the window.
I just always call her like, you are my manager. So that's all you will do.
But it's definitely called personal assistant for sure.
Like on the celebrities and movie stars, they have a manager to manage all that stuffs.
They most of the time have an agent, not a manager. You have some form of people who are, let's say, in entertainment, who additionally have talent managers. That's also the case, but most of the time institutions have talent managers.
Whatever the title you give. So the same salary and same scope of
really,
work and
it's really
performance.
Important. It's really important because the perception you give out to other people, either just acquaintances or maybe just unknown persons who might be potential business partners or just clients of yours, if they see you have a manager, it might get confusing. If they see, oh, she has a personal assistant, straight up, most of the time it's no clutter. When it comes to a personal assistant, at least in Western countries. I'm not sure in Eastern Europe, not sure about that. But if you would go and say in America, oh, my personal assistant will handle that.
So normally I talk to, like somebody call me and say, hey, how about the fence? Blah, blah, blah. We agree that we all will have the fence. You have to pay 10 euro. Say, oh my goodness, you talking about which property? What are you talking about? Better you talk to my manager. She will call you back.
Yeah. So, and that's again, what is a manager then in that case? Whatever you want it to be. A personal assistant, everybody knows what a personal assistant is for most of the time.
So now I will change from manager to personal assistant.
Or just an assistant, yeah. If you don't feel because usually it's just shortened PA. Oh, my PA will handle it, and so you might as well be on the same page there. It's just that you need to just lure Liena in with something of benefit. You need to give her some cookies.
Not enough.
Well, and a
monthly salary will much better.
Because you don't pay her any salaries, right?
I pay her monthly.
Oh, as an accountant, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Accountant and like manager and to manage own personal things like meeting with policeman, BBD, tax company, bank.
But she still gets a salary
Every
just
month.
as an employer.
No. As an
Oh,
employer.
as employee. Sorry, I'm employee. Yeah, because a personal assistant, as far as I know, most of the time, at best, they are just their own company, and otherwise they are just physical persons earning an income without any legal person behind it.
Yeah. Just
So-
personal income, no legal behind.
Yeah, because definitely sounds like you just need a personal assistant, and then you just need to collect the cash, and that's it. Most of the time, collect the cash, sign the papers, and that's it.
That's
You
why
make it.
I feel like
make
I'm
it more-
disabled person.
You
or,
make it more passive for you, while still getting most of the benefits.
Are you sure that is it, or I need to
No.
keep an eyes on? Because now I don't need to go to my shop. Like I go there like once per month, and I seem like I got a feeling like I'm
You see-
disabled. I lose the control, that kinds of things.
You see, most of the time, that's the reason why they have in those big markets even special companies who provide you assistance services. That's why, let's say, if you are a big property owner, well, for instance, if you would be a big real estate owner in the UK, you would just hire. I think they are just called personal assistant companies, but it might be the case that they are just some managerial real estate, whatever companies, but they still do the same functions.
Property management.
Property management, which means that somebody is actually your assistant when it comes to either all your properties, if you hire them for all your properties, or just for some. And you don't get involved absolutely nowhere. It's just that you say,
Exactly what I'm
the-
doing now,
these
and
are-
I feel
these are-
really like I
these
lose
are
my control and I do
these are my
nothing.
interests, these are my principles, these are my needs, and the rest you handle that. You handle all the accountancy, you handle all the up-to-date legal considerations, everything you handle. I'm not worried about that. So they still get the payment, but they don't get the headaches.
That exactly I am doing. I feel like I'm disabled person. Why I do nothing? I should keep my eyes on my business, otherwise it will leak it somewhere.
Do you feel really
So-
that that's a risk for you?
Yeah, because I even don't take the cash.
Because if you are the owner, you are the owner. It's just that simple. You are the owner.
So I lost the control. Like I even don't take cash from the machine of the shop. So Liana has the card, and then she can put the money in, but she cannot get money out. She
Right.
can go to the internet banking and she can do the transaction, but she cannot transfer. She
Alright.
just makes some transaction.
I'll switch on the light.
So it seems like I do nothing, and it seems like, is it that I open the door and say, hey, welcome, I give you freedom and power to do whatever you like. And
Well, you don't give. I mean, technically, you could give her total freedom, but that's not really the best practice out there. The best practice is just to limit your focus on that what really personally interests you on a day-to-day basis, and the rest you just delegate it to someone who you trust. But you make sure legally that they cannot, if they turn on you, that they cannot actually do any harm to you. That's it. And that's a personal assistant. If you can get it as a fiduciary, it's even better, because then I'm not sure whether or not Latvia has anything actually regarding this, but I know in America they should have something, and in UK probably, all the Commonwealth countries probably, that they have even a fiduciary obligation, which would mean that they even cannot that they're even risk of having to any liabilities if something even remotely is harming your interests. It's really high stakes, but then it's just also the compensation is adequate and everything's paid for in a way. Because here's the interesting thing I didn't know before I met a Romanian guy. Even though Romania is in the EU, he told me that now, currently in 2017, a normal Romanian salary a decent salary would be around 500 euros, which sounds crazy to me because 500 euros was decent in Latvia some 6 years ago. I would say, well, 5 years ago to 4 years, maybe that would be most safe to say. So even though we are both in the EU, they have just almost double or half of the costs when it comes to employees, and that seems to me crazy. So that's what I wanted to ask you. Have you done any business around there? Romania, Bulgaria, somewhere around there? Because that sounds really interesting if that's true. And that's why they have many outsourcing companies there. Many Americans. What he told me that even Germans go there for outsourcing, which is just sounds ridiculous. But if it's really that cheap there, because they have even, I guess they have even faster internet than Latvia. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think Latvia is really super fast.
Like I think they have
7
even faster.
Or something.
I think they have even faster. I mean, the fastest are probably somewhere in Asia, but yeah, they are somewhere in the top. What are your actually plans for the future businesses for you?
3, 4, 5 more alcohol shop. 3,
Really?
4, 5 more Vietnamese restaurant.
So you want to keep it in that niche?
Yeah.
Mm.
Because now we have 2, and we can see the advantage and the air position. So if we have double scale,
what is the advantage for you? What is the selling point?
Deal. We have the stronger deal with and stronger position with suppliers. Then we get better price and better offer.
But why would you have any stronger position? Have you got any
more
leverage
value,
on them?
More turnover. Then I'm your bigger client. Then you treat me in another way.
But are you a significantly bigger client compared to other shops in Bauska? Really?
Oh, we have one big guy from...
Could you become a supplier yourself?
Not that big.
But you could, right?
Yeah, of
theoretically.
course. But if you do the calculation, then you get more profit if you be the retailer than the small wholesaler.
Really?
Wholesale for yourself.
Really?
Because the operation cost and transportation and import tax and that kinds of things is much more expensive if you buy the small quantity.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like 10 containers, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Then it will be okay.
All right. And now you just get everything you need from the supplier, get your...
Latvian supplier.
Yeah.
Actually, we think about it when I open my cosmetic shop. I think that I will take it from Czech Republic. Oh my goodness, I really don't know how to put the Latvian sticker on the foreign product. And it will cost you lots of money and time and effort just to put the sticker on the product. And then it's the price. For example, if you buy a soap, it's just like 50 cents.
Yeah.
But if I put the sticker on the product, it's cost me like 10 cents already.
Do you mean the sticker for the information
Latvian
in
language,
Latvian?
like regulation.
Mm-hmm.
So because it will be okay if I'm the big wholesaler. But if I just import like 1 ton or 2 tons, then the operation cost will be really high.
Yep.
Like it's just like 50 cents per soap.
Mm-hmm.
But if I transport from Czech Republic to here, 1 ton, it cost me 100 euro. And then the price of the soap will be 1 euro, not 50 cents anymore.
Yep.
And if I import like 10 container, then the price is much different. But I really dream of the wholesale market here.
In what?
In Latvia, in like...
Wholesale for what?
Like Asian stuffs or clothes.
All right, you're right. You told me about the logistics center. Or
Yeah, something like that.
So is it in the working? How come? How come me?
No people, no human resource, no budget.
Sounds like you need a personal assistant.
the person I dream of is never say yes.
Look at that.
Or I think better if the partner, like the business partner, like.
Continue. Go on.
But actually, I really like how can I say, evaluate.
You just showed me the finger.
Shut up. So the catering, like restaurant industry, is quite good here.
In Riga or Latvia?
Riga, in Latvia also. Like,
is it in Niecava or Bauska?
we plan in Bauska, but still, we still don't find a location. We still don't find a good place.
Bauska is probably pretty good in the summer for that kind of things. I'm not sure how the conditions, how are the conditions in the winter for restaurants. What are actually your data when it comes to your restaurant by the church? Is it full of tourists or locals?
More local than tourists.
So everything's going good there?
Really?
Do you know what is the most popular dish?
Yes.
What is it?
You don't know it.
Well,
you
describe it to me.
You should go there and experience by yourself instead of describing.
Well, but you can at least comment on it. Do you like it yourself?
Oh, I really love it.
What's it called?
Oh, you will never know. Bún bò Nam Bộ.
Mumba.
Yeah,
Really?
see?
Sounds funny.
Beef and fresh rice noodle.
Oh, noodles with
sauce.
beef.
Yeah, with fish sauce and lemongrass and vegetable. And
All right.
we launched some new dishes and we got really nice clients and loyal clients.
What's the situation with? I still cannot remember the dude.
The competitor.
Who became your competitor? What's the situation there with them?
So they have all the dishes I have, and so they also have my chef quite near to us, and so we have only 2 kinds of salads. So
could it be actually that he was responsible for the immigration inspector to come to you?
I think so.
Really?
Because some.
Have you thought about retaliating?
About what?
Retaliating, giving him some.
No, I'm tired of it. Let him play his game.
Let your personal assistant handle it, right?
No, I don't want it. So
see, that's where a personal assistant could come in handy. Just tell them, just destroy him, and you go away.
Do you remember the Germany stuffs?
Well, you told me about it, but I didn't see anything.
I really don't know why and where it's come from and why Germany and what's the function of German here. But immigration name it seriously. Your company will be in the list. They say welcome.
In what list?
Like I don't pay tax properly. I'm cheating with illegal laborers, that kinds of things. I said, okay, welcome. We always pay tax and we always use legal persons and especially we don't have any single illegal bottle of alcohol. We don't.
What's Porto?
Illegal, like fake alcohol bottle or something like that.
What's fake? I thought Porto is just a wine. Isn't Porto just a wine?
Wine, a bottle of wine, or like wine or rum or whiskey or whatever. So there's some quite popular here that they sell the fake one, and you drink it and tomorrow you have a headache.
What types would that be?
So it's still balsam, but it's a fake balsam.
I never heard of it, but
really?
Hey, I'm not a big drinker.
So people told me that. Like,
it would be probably funny if we 2 got drunk together, right?
I asked you for a cup of coffee, and actually tonight
since when do you expect from me coffee? Have you ever seen me with coffee?
I didn't mean that we go to coffee shop for coffee. We just the atmosphere of hanging around and go out and still that of being here 3 years, more than 3 years.
Well, actually, yeah, we can. that's one of those things I would like to do, to have the actually ability to make a portable podcast. Because can you imagine, everywhere you can go, you can just create content out of nothing. It just changes the game. Do you actually watch TV? That's what I thought.
I did watch TV, I think, for 10 years.
But you have a TV screen, so you watch some movies or something like that.
Yeah.
How do you consume Latvian culture the most? Because when you talk business, you talk international relations most of the time. It's not really Latvian that much.
No, I live like a local. That's why I can experience the culture. Like I know what's the difference between the traditional clothes and shoes, and what's the material of the traditional shoe. When will you wear it? And
I wouldn't be able to tell you about traditional clothes.
You are not traditional person.
What are traditional clothes?
You wear all the time in Lihu, and it's come from different cities.
Are you sure those are traditional? I think that's one of those. That's the same as the balsam thing, to just have the tourists believe. That's how people used to walk around here.
And I will be very proud of it. I wear that stuff. And you have traditional shoes. And
but you in Vietnam probably do have some traditional clothes.
Yes.
Because you have a bigger culture, longer history.
Yeah.
We are around for 200 years. It's not that long.
Few thousands. Yes.
Yeah, so you definitely have some traditional clothes that were actually worn by people in past times. I think we just make stuff up.
But it's nice. It's nice.
Like
in Easter,
it's not practical.
People believe that in Easter you swing in the outdoor, then the whole of the year you will not be bitten by mosquito. And it's funny. My friend take the swing to the forest. He hang it up with the ladder, and we swing in the forest all together, like 50 people, 70 people together.
Yeah, why not? It's quirky.
And even his grandfather, grandmom also on the swing. And it's really a big effort to bring the swing into the forest, hang it up, and take it down in the end of the day.
That definitely sounds like a big effort. It's usually just
and
people
they keep their family tradition. So every year, the whole of the family to be exactly in that forest.
You mean a Latvian family goes?
Yeah.
Really?
Always, every year they do it more than 50 years already.
The only thing my family does, and specifically my mother, is that they take what's it called?
Better you put in Google image.
Pink tree?
No, put it in the Google image.
Yeah. Pink tree. I don't believe it's called pink tree. I think it's something with pussy. Yeah, it will just show some pink trees. Oh, actually, I probably know how to find it. I did put it in Latvian. It's just that it doesn't translate it that well. But
I
think
that one in Latvian in Google image. In Google image you put Latvian instead of English. Then
right.
will not go to link.
Very well thought out. I like that.
IT guy.
So, all right. See these ones?
Yeah, I really like it.
I think they are called some pussy.
We call it spring pussy, something like that.
Something like that. They had definitely pussy in them. So these, my mother on the Sunday, she just bundles them up and goes around whomever she meets from our family, and then she just says that it's a saying to be to be as round as this fluffy thing and as healthy as some vegetable. So she's just wrong. That's the only thing.
Do you know that they do the same in Czech Republic? So they also do the same, and they put in the leg of the woman to wish that the whole year she will be beautiful and powerful.
Well, that
So the
sounds
men
pretty good.
do it to the woman. They do the same like your mom too.
See, that's where the pussy name gets a totally different meaning if they do something with the women.
So I think they quite keep good tradition in Latvia. Like
I'm not sure.
that family, they gather all the time there.
It depends on what you consider tradition. Simply because nobody really made a book called The Traditions of Latvians. So nobody really knows.
We have 1,000 books that about Vietnamese tradition and what we believe.
Have you actually thought about making some association now, but some society for representing Asian culture, or maybe specifically Vietnamese culture in Latvia?
Yeah, Vietnamese culture in Latvia is quite fine. I don't know about the other Asian country.
I don't know what are your thoughts about your neighboring countries of Vietnam?
Your what?
About the neighboring countries of Vietnam. What are your thoughts about them? Do you feel any particular way about? Oh man, I'm not sure if I know any neighboring countries of Vietnam right now. China?
Yeah, the biggest.
Yeah.
We call him brothers, but
Really?
seems like no.
How come?
Because all Vietnamese
Do you have a
hate
common history?
Chinese.
Do you have a common history with China?
Yeah. We used to be their colony. That's why.
China's colony? I thought China was a colony.
We under China.
So you were the same country, in a way.
It's not the same. We still have our own name and our own language,
All right.
but we belong to them.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think 1,000 years ago, something like that.
All right.
So, lots of our food come from China, and some of our traditional clothes also the tailor made from China, and lots of belief and Buddha things, and so come from China.
You know what I don't understand? Because if you look, let's say 1,000 years ago, it seems to me China was even more advanced than any European country.
I think so.
So how come China is so well? Nowadays you could say that they have the modern economy there, but still, on average, they're not really that advanced. They probably still have lots of people living in villages where they don't have any running water.
Conditions.
How come?
It's the same for
Is it some cultural thing, or is it just some basic economic issues?
Basic economic issue, and it's the same for all the country who has big population, like India.
Yeah, India would be just a former colony that was exploited by whites, my guess. Because I think 1,000 years ago, India might have been some lovely place compared to the rest of the world. But once the Brits or anybody else got a hold of India, they just exploited it for I don't know what, some spices probably. What is actually Vietnam famous for when it comes to food? Because India has spices, China.
We have
probably
pho.
Rice.
Pho, the rice noodle soup.
Is it famous?
And baguette.
Well, baguette
Bánh
is
mì.
just French, Belgian French.
No, the Vietnamese baguette, the bánh mì one.
Oh, the one you gave the Vietnamese dude to give me. Yeah, about that, my parents told me to give you their compliments.
What is that? What's their compliment like?
Well, compliments that it was tasty.
How they feel like homemade
Well, my father told that he liked that the bread got old in a good way. After a few days, it was
Still,
firm, but still nice. Because he told me other breads just get really stiff, and you don't really have the opportunity to eat them that nice.
So when I gave you, I think it's one
again
or 2
the bird.
days.
What is it with you today?
Because what this tube is busy already. So what can I do?
So what is your question?
So actually, like if you come there and we have just baked it, it's really super good.
You mean the bread?
And we sell it every day. We bake it every day and fresh one. We don't keep it for tomorrow.
I would imagine you just take some already pre-made mixture and bake it.
We do all by hand and homemade, and our own recipe, no already made mix, no instant commercial stuffs.
So you are saying me on air that you are putting flour and water and everything else that you need together on the spot to create the batter? I don't believe you. I don't believe you at all. Not one single.
It's really
moment.
funny when we have just opened the restaurant. We don't know where to buy the powder. That's kind of specific powder.
What is so specific about it?
Like it's powder they
It's
have
flour,
like
isn't it?
flowers.
It's just flour.
No, they have many different kinds. That's why you have
Oh yeah,
many
that's for
different.
sure. That's for
So
sure.
we know
You probably
very well.
You probably need the very fine one.
So we don't know where to find it. So
Well, all the big mills have those.
we don't
And
know
50
who is the
kilo
big
bags.
one, and we really don't know where to buy. And we found that
Well, we have a
specific
couple
one.
of-
We need that specific one because we try a lot, and we just buy it in tops.
Mhm.
And we come to tops, and we said, I want like 100 kilo, and I stop say, no, we don't have it.
Yeah, the manufacturer on the package, it's the same.
Oh, it's really difficult at the beginning for us to
No,
just
for
to buy
sure.
the flowers. Oh.
Well, sourcing is always one of the biggest issues, all of the time. Sure.
And still now we still import everything from Czech Republic.
You mean what? The ingredients?
Rice, noodle, lemongrass, and
Wow.
noodle and fish sauce, soya sauce, oyster sauce, and, rice and
So
soya beans, and
for those things, you could actually become the wholesaler in Latvia.
to sell for whom?
That's what I wanted to ask. Is there anybody who could
And
want
also
that?
there are some Asian restaurant and some like Asian here, so it's also the good market. So if you can help me with distribution or salesperson, then I think it's perfect.
Well, you
for
have
wholesales.
you have already representatives in Czech Republic, right? You yourself.
Yeah, but he can help with the output, but the input, but I need somebody to sell it and marketing and go to the restaurant and sell to the Asian restaurant.
Another job for Liana. Your
No,
personal
she's
your
not the
personal
sales-
assistant.
She's not the salesperson. We need a professional salesperson. I'm serious about it.
I'm
So
sure.
and also the people who can sell is on the internet, online trading
Online trading for what?
for that own Asian products.
Oh, like e-commerce type.
No, he need to do some advertising, take the photo of the product, put it on online selling and advertising, advertise
Oh.
for his web page. And
Why wouldn't you do that yourself then? Because
I'm
it
not
seems
good
to me
at
that you are the marketing person.
I'm not good at like IT stuff and operations. So if I have some guy who can handle it, I just tell him what to do, and he did it. I will have a look on it and say, no, this is not good. No, this is perfect. Keep this, change this one, blah blah.
All right, but can you imagine the scenario where you have yourself, you have your personal assistant, and everything that you need done, you tell only to one person, and that's your personal assistant.
You cannot have all
that's
fit
it.
in one. You need
Try.
to have some people.
I dare you, try. Just give Liana the full package.
It's too much for her. Like she has restaurant, cosmetic shop.
She's a big girl, she can take it.
Alcohol shops is too much. Oh my goodness.
Because when she gets the feeling that it's starting to become too much, but let's say the pay is fair enough,
Also too much.
she will actually start delegating at least the accountancy. So she will try to manage
No,
all
I don't
those
want
things.
it. I want the salesperson. Why do you do it? Because you still pay the same. You pay based on the scope of work. You didn't pay by. So better you have the salesperson, the person who specializes on online trading, telemarketing, and e-commerce and something like that. And if you can recommend me anyone
All right.
who take care of the website, Facebook, and
I would
approach.
just know digital marketing providers, but those are just ubiquitous on the internet.
Mhm.
Just once you Google digital marketing, you'll find different agencies for that. Because usually it's just a matter of what's your target audience, and then they just
Asian and restaurant.
and see that's the problem, I guess, in Latvia. Where do you find that target audience collected somewhere in Latvia in terms of actual content that they consume? Difficult to tell, because they don't probably have any gathering spots.
They
No
have.
forums.
They have some forums and
Really?
yeah, and offline parties every
Look
month.
at you.
Expat party every month.
Expats, right? Why not?
And like China, Chinese, they have like Chinese community and website.
In Latvia?
Yeah, they have more than 1,000 people here.
Wow.
And Indian, they have more than 50 family here.
How do you know all that?
Because I meet them all the time. I go to the
How?
expat party
How do you find out about those?
on my Facebook.
Oh, Facebook again. Right.
The fastest one.
Hmm?
So my difficult now is my Latvian language. Now I'm serious.
I did tell you about the Latvian language, how I think about it. Why would you actually try to learn Latvian language if you just can live on the residence permit temporarily all of the time? You can just extend it. You don't need a permanent
It's really
one.
a shame if you cannot speak the language with the country you
Don't
live
get
for
me
many
don't get me
years.
wrong. Don't get me wrong. I would
And-
definitely encourage you to have the ability to actually communicate in Latvian, but it's just that it's nothing to be, let's say, too worried about. Simply because even Latvians don't speak proper Latvian. That's the whole thing about Latvian language. It's sort of
I feel very bad when I come to the bookshop and I cannot read. Oh my goodness! Or go to the market and cannot read, and oh, look like you disabled person.
hmm,
And especially now the kids go to school and we receive some education report, student report. We don't know what is what. And especially I hate it when we had the parents meeting.
so
The teacher keep on and on and on, and I don't know what is going on, what they talking about. It's really funny. In the end of the year, in the year-end party of the class,
yeah.
so each of the student have to make the card
All right.
and draw their mommy
Okay.
and make a poem or describe about your mommy, and then the teacher will read. And if the mommy think that it's you, then you raise your hand up, and it's in Latvian. So I just feel that it's mine, and because I learned like in the description they said that black hair. My son said that my mommy is like the small flowers. Her hair is long and black, and so I think that it's me.
Wow.
So I raised my hand. It's like, how come you understand Latvian that much? Blah blah blah. So I said, okay, so better I learn Latvian. Otherwise, in that, and she read, and my child will be very upset. And I destroy her. She even cannot recognize.
Well, I definitely feel you. I definitely
And
feel.
this poor person
I have
feeling.
empathy. I have, but
Thank you for your deep sympathy.
yeah, I didn't say I have sympathy though. I told her empathy. Well, simply because it seems to me that you would be fine to actually just learn,
Yeah.
let's say, 1,000 words, the most used 1,000 words in the Latvian language, and everything else is just by context. Because really, you wouldn't be able to use it to a full
I will
advantage.
have the permanent resident permit after 5 years.
So,
So I need to have the A2 certificate, language certificate.
but you told me that you can actually just take another temporary one.
I think better and to be safe to have the permanent one.
If you want, sure, why not?
But they said 5 years. 5 years from when? 5 years from the decision, or 5 years from my temporary card? Because I actually live 3 years, but I changed the card 4 times already. So,
Why?
Because they base on the day they make the decision. So I don't know when I will change to permanent resident and what is the requirement for.
I think
What
it's-
is the document they require?
Well, but you still have a continuous stay, so you just need to look at the first date and count from that.
Which day they count? The day in
The first one.
the decision, or the
Yeah.
day in the ID on the ID card,
no,
or the
no.
day on the decision?
Yeah. Because your stay is determined by the decision, not the ID. ID is just for
But the ID is the
representation.
one really residing here. When I receive the
It's-
decision,
it's-
I still
it's-
in Vietnam.
It's the confirmation that you can reside. It's the convenient way of actually showing that there was a decision regarding your stay. It's just a representation of the decision, is what it is. So the decision is the starting point.
Mhm.
Chronologically speaking, the first one that comes up is the one. So you're good to go with that.
Mhm.
It's just that you probably will change your ID probably several times in the next 3 years.
No, every year you have to change.
Oh, once
it.
you renew?
Mm.
Wow. What do they do with the old one?
They just throw away.
Look at that, you're a small polluter.
There, not mine.
Wow.
But I think it's stupid.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. Anyway, they do
Would you
their job.
would you be able to tell anything about Latvians living in Vietnam?
Latvian what?
Latvian expats in Vietnam.
We have some, just I think 4 or 5 people only, and he's really happy. He
4 or
got
5 people.
He got the very nice Vietnamese girlfriend, and I think he's really happy with
Oh, you
that.
know those persons who live in.
Yeah.
Wow. And how did you find those?
Just because we so from Facebook.
Ah,
Just because like it's really funny. Like he bought some of my really dreaming food in Vietnam,
all right.
and I said, "Oh my goodness, I dream of it." And when I bought my Latvian food on, I said, "Oh my goodness, I miss it. I cannot have it here." And it's really funny. It makes us closer because I choose his country like nobody in Vietnam choose it, and he choose my country like no Latvian choose it. So it's
Well,
really, that's why we closer.
And
when I went back to Vietnam, I said, "Come to my house, let's have dinner together." Just because he's Latvian and I'm Vietnamese in Latvia, so it's really nice.
so you met him.
Yeah.
Wow. So what does he do in Vietnam?
He does some small business. He has a Vietnamese restaurant, small like a bistro,
A
and
Vietnamese restaurant in Vietnam?
because his girlfriend is Vietnamese.
If you would have, let's say, if you would be in his shoes and you would have a Vietnamese girlfriend, would you rather go to Vietnam or come to Latvia, knowing what you know now about all both countries?
It depends on how much you love and what you expect. If you expect like
the
really
same-
dynamic and you need money and
Yeah.
power and full
Sounds like you're
full
going
of
Vietnam.
energy.
Sounds like you're going Vietnam.
Yeah. Then you go to Vietnam.
Wow.
The
So-
population of 90 people and everything change every day, and you will be rushed and in hurry all the time.
Fun to rush. It's not fun to be
It's
rushing.
good for the young people.
Why?
And we call elbow fight. You need to do elbow to get everybody out so that you can go.
But he's Latin. He's probably at least a foot taller than anybody of you, so he just goes around like this. Do actually Vietnamese play basketball?
No,
What's the most popular sport? Have I asked you that one?
shooting.
Shooting?
Yeah.
What?
Because we fight against America, China.
But you mean sport shooting?
Mhm. We got gold medal in
That's-
the World Cup or something like
But
that.
that's not an Olympic sport, right?
Olympic, yes.
It's Olympic
We got
sport?
the gold medal in Olympic for shooting.
Was it the only gold medal?
I think so.
It seems to me that even though I've talked to you several times, seems to me I still have many questions regarding Vietnam. It's probably simply because I don't really remember anything of our previous conversations.
Because a lot. We change and jump into another topic all the time.
Yeah, probably. But we did actually state what we were going to talk about when we started the podcast, which was it was definitely The one, and then no, it was business in Latvia. I think business in Latvia was there. Then something about living in Latvia was there, right? Then something about Vietnam was there. And then something about Nguyen was there. I think we covered all topics that we mentioned. Yeah. The only topic we didn't actually mention, but we did, was the food taste test, the gotiņas. Do you have any similar pronunciations in Vietnamese? Nya, ch.
We had nya.
We
had nya.
Nya?
Yeah.
But you don't have any the sign. You just have the spelling. Let's say your last name, Nguyen.
We also had a signal or the sign.
Right, you have a lot of those.
A lot of
those. Do you like it?
It does not bother me.
Well, you're
Latvian bother me.
Well, you're an international person. You can compare what seems to be the most easiest way of actually writing or speaking.
English.
So would you like to have Vietnamese replaced by English?
Why not?
In Vietnam?
Why not?
Yeah, me too.
Cost you nothing. So I just always make a joke like, about this country had 3 small country with just 2 million people, and you guys speak 3 languages. That make you poor. So let's wait, and my little son.
Make you poor?
The country, not grow up really fast.
Oh, yeah, it's not effective.
Yeah. So let's wait. My little boy become the first Vietnamese president of Latvia. Then we will put 3 bounties country in one country, only one language, which is Vietnamese. Then we see how it grow up.
I'm not planning to learning Vietnamese, sorry. Your kiddo needs to make other plans.
You don't plan it, but because of the some benefit or like something like financial benefit or some spiritual benefits, then you will. So don't talk about the hobbies. That doesn't make sense. So just if talking about social and economical benefits, then it will work. Less money talk.
You mean one language? You're talking about one language, yeah. English.
Vietnamese. For Baltic countries.
You're crazy.
How about politics career in Latvia?
Politics career? What about it?
Is it good job? Of
How
course, dirty games, right? Of course, dirty games, as usual.
I'm not really that... Well, depends what you consider dirty, in a way. Because politics
is one way dirty and bullshit.
It's definitely sometimes immoral. It's definitely sometimes immoral. But then again, what isn't sometimes immoral? Everything is sometimes immoral.
I really like the guy from the head of Riga.
The head of
Russian
Riga?
guy.
Nils Ushakovs?
How do you write his name? Something. And he has so many girlfriends and 4 wives and.
No, I think he's just. He just has a wife. Yeah.
His current.
Hmm?
You mean his current? But he used to have some wives, right?
Many wives? No. I think
he has
one
4.
wife. Or I don't know. So I don't really follow him.
I heard that he's the lady killer.
Who told you that?
I
really
like him.
I've never heard of that. And how do you decide that you like him?
His strategy about real estate, and he made some playground for children, and his body gets strong, and I love all his suit.
So that's how shallow you are.
Yeah.
You need a playground and a suit to get you. Well, yeah, I mean, I know that usually he looks like this.
Yeah.
In his suit, glasses. Yeah.
It's really attractive.
Well, that's a point of view you can take if you like.
So one day I met him. Where is it? Ah, near to the art museum.
Hmm?
Oh my goodness, my idol.
Did you take a selfie with him?
No,
How come?
I didn't have a chance to approach him.
Actually, I would imagine that that's the thing you need to
See,
strive
he
for.
looked really smart.
That's just the glasses. I think he was a journalist. I think he was a journalist before he got into the parliament. But since he is a Russian-speaking dude, definitely the Russian-speaking population likes him.
Yeah, of course. And they are rich. That's why.
Who is rich?
Russian population here.
Well, you have definitely some rich Russians here, but most of the Russians are pretty poor. Well, not pretty poor, but still, comparatively speaking, lower class people. Well, simply because imagine yourself. If you would be a Russian, ethnic Russian, or at least Russian-speaking background, and you actually need to have some either business, workplace, anything in between. If you are in the right circles, perhaps, then yeah, you can definitely be in the business class, upper echelon. But if not, then you just go for those jobs who don't really require you to speak Latvian or English. So, and then you have those now, the new generation, younger than me, who speak Russian, Latvian, English, and they can go everywhere, and still most of the time they tend to go to those either middle class or lower class jobs. And I'm not sure why, because if you speak about, let's say, the bureaucratic class or the well, mostly you could call it middle class, then you find more Latvians there. That's for sure. It's just that the lower end and the upper end is definitely more populated by Russian-speaking people. I don't know why that is, but my guess.
In Yumala, lots of Russian people, and that's the most expensive city with the rich people. So Russians there.
Well, again, you have definitely some Russians who are local Russians and rich, but many Russians are just foreign Russians, just come to Yurmala, own some properties in Yurmala. You have that as well, that's for sure.
So the local one is more.
And then again, you go to the least expensive or the cheapest places in Latvia, and you go to the socially most less prestigious places like a prison, and you'll find mostly Russian-speaking people. That's for sure. They really inhabit those two extremes, either upper or lower, and the middle usually, I would say, 70% at least Latvians.
Lena also go for voting for parliament in Bauska this year.
Well, for the local municipality, yes. And next year there will be for parliament. I think next year. I think they were 1 year apart.
As a foreigner, can I get into the politics?
Well, you need to be a citizen.
No. But foreigner, citizen
if
also,
you have a citizenship, yes, you can do the naturalization process, get your citizenship, and then be a member of parliament, government, everything in between. Would you actually like to be that? Because here's the thing, you talked about dirty things, right? When it comes to politics, when it comes to legislation, the most dirty thing, if you would ask me, would be the unrecognized lobbying that's taking place, simply because you don't have any framework for it. So everything is just who knows who, where do you influence whom, and many times it's really strange, because if you, let's say, as a private citizen would like to initiate a law, for instance, or a change in the law, you would actually need to have, I don't know how many, 10,000 signatures or just a crazy number as a private citizen. Whereas if you are, let's say, an official at a ministry, and you feel the need, subjectively speaking, you feel the need, we need actually to establish this and that into this and that law. So you get your institution to sign that we need to actually change this law. Here's why we would suggest this type of text. then you can initiate some proceedings in the parliament that actually means, all right, we are, well, technically speaking, opening up the law, meaning it's open to suggestions. And then you come in as a private citizen, and then you don't need any 10,000. You just need to know those who are responsible for the project, who actually manages the project, because many times parliament just decides whether or not to take that initiated project. Let's say the initiated project has 2 articles in it. We do this and we will do this in case the first one doesn't happen, or something like that. And then it goes, all right, the parliament says, all right, we can definitely decide upon these kinds of things. Let's give it to the responsible commission, which would be, let's say, the commission for that kind of topic. So it goes to the commission, and the commission then goes and evaluates whether or not the text is proper, whether or not there are some considerations from other laws, from other institutions. And then you can come in as a private citizen, well, basically, simplistically speaking, and tell them, well, look, well, here's the dirty part that might be risky, right? If you can actually influence those commission people, which are only a few, and say, well, look, we need to actually add this and that and write this and that like this. Then they go back to Parliament, the Commission, and says, well, we as the Commission actually think we would need this text to be like this, and like this. And it turns out of the 2 initial articles, it became 8 articles. The 6 weren't even mentioned in the initiating text. It just appeared from the Commission. And then the Parliament goes, well, but are you sure you need those? Yeah, we evaluate it. It's pretty important. All right, so, and of course almost nobody in the parliament reads anything. It's just too complicated sometimes to actually be interested in those things. So all right, those biggest parties just get to I think it's called the party leader. The party leader says, yes, this one is politically good, we need that. So everybody just follows like sheep. All right, the rest of the party just, oh yeah, we'll vote for it. That's it. And the law came into force by sometimes maybe 10 people who actually did something. The rest just followed. The rest just, so there's your chance, because in that process you can participate. You can just say, well, look, I'm a Vietnamese citizen living in Latvia. I represent these, that, and this, all those interests. We need this and that. And if you know the commission, or at least some members of the commission, all the better. That's where you can come in with your dirty money, with your dirty money, and buy everything. That would be my suggestion, actually, to buy everything.
I don't have that money to buy anything. So
well, but you need to strive for something.
Better I live my life with my hobbies.
What are your hobbies? I'm not sure.
I start painting.
Well, don't start with what you started. What are your established hobbies?
A lot. Reading. Not
That's
at
good.
4 a.m.
That's
in
good.
the morning.
Well,
I'm really crazy of the books.
That's good. But
I really like addict. Like.
But you mean fiction?
Or like just some fiction or any kind. So like.
So, for instance, now what is the current literature you read?
I don't know, but I read it in Vietnamese. How can you?
Well, describe it.
All like
the topic.
Commercial one, like 50 Shades of Grey.
Well, that's a novel, isn't it? That's just a romance novel, isn't it?
I really love something like that.
All right.
But that's commercial. It's like.
It's fiction.
Yeah.
Yeah. But do you read also non-fiction?
Oh.
What is all? Tell me all.
Do you know there is one writer from Turkey? And
No.
he won.
I already know. No, I don't know anybody from Turkey who's a writer.
No. He's a famous writer, and he got
Nope.
the Nobel.
No, I don't know.
The Nobel, literary Nobel in 2006.
So
I'm reading his fiction.
about what?
He called Innocent translation. Innocent Museum.
In
Innocent Museum.
what does that mean? In Nuzen?
Yeah, the museum, but innocent.
In where?
Innocent.
What is that a place?
No, it's not a place. The word like you are so innocent. You are like you are old. You are so experienced. You are so fresh. You're so junior or so innocent. Innocent.
I mean, it's lovely.
One word.
It's lovely how you say it, but I don't understand a syllable.
So it's
Well,
just
alright,
one
it's
word.
just-
It's an adjective. Like you are beautiful and innocent girl. You know nothing.
Innocent girl. I get it.
So
I
maybe
get
next
it.
time I just talk about girl, then
Oh.
you know what it means.
All right.
So oh my goodness. So he got Nobel, and that with that fiction is really nice one. So he's from the Nobel family, like royal family in Turkey.
I didn't know that existed.
No, that's the story.
Hmm.
And then
Well,
he-
look, if it's fiction, I definitely am not
I really love
into
it.
that.
Mhm.
But I definitely am into reading books. I like that. Well, I don't like reading books. I just like the benefit of
I like reading.
having read books.
I like reading, and I really feel like I feel really, really good if I go to buy lots of books and I just touch it or look at it. And one day, if I meet my writer, or my writer write me something on my book, or that made me really happy.
Wow. Did you have that when you were living in Vietnam as well?
Of course, even now.
Wow.
So just yesterday, my friend SMS me. I have just finished and published my book.
Yeah.
And I know definitely you will love it. Give me the address, I will send it to you. So I just sent him the address and he sent me his book. And I really love like some of my close friends. And when he read that book, he think about me and said, definitely you love it. I will buy it for you. And there's some friends from America. She ordered a book from Vietnam, and then Vietnam shipped the book to here for me, and she paid from America. That's kinds of love I really love. And I really love that people think about me when they read that kind of book. So I said, oh, she will love it, definitely. I will give it to you.
So when they read 50 Shades, oh, she will like that. She will like that.
Yeah.
Oh, very good, very good. Good to know. Good to know.
But it's just commercial book. It's like
Well,
not
look at it this way. Anything that sells well becomes a commercial book.
discount.
So
And it has definitely it has some certain benefits
of being commercial,
to be commercialized.
I watched the movies. I watched both movies. Oh, decent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all romantic movies.
It seems to me that Asia has a more romantic culture.
I don't know, but I never see
I would
any
imagine.
Asian.
I would
I
imagine.
will never watch any Asian movies because the technique and the director is not senior. So I prefer American movie or Western movies. And
Well, sure, they have bigger practice when it comes to movies, but when it comes to love stories,
I don't know, but I prefer maybe American or Western, like more practical, more down to earth. And when it comes to Asian, it's fly in the sky. That's not suitable to me. So I really want something really, really practical, but really down to earth.
well, you mean
When you come to me and say, hey, I love you so much. I can jump into the fire. I can fly up to the sky, get the moon for you. Fuck you. I don't need it. Excuse me. Thanks. So I really need a guy who give me chocolate and flowers and a helicopter and that kind of romantic.
and bend you down. I see.
Yeah. And instead
Good,
of come
good.
to me and say, hey, I will go to the sky, taking the moon for you.
You are a rebel. You are a rebel. I think that's one of those funny things that Asian countries have, that they over exaggerate storylines, because I think they have a stereotype even for that kind of things.
Yeah.
If something is Asian, then it becomes really just super exaggerated.
Yeah. If you
But
are the
maybe-
good
but maybe-
person, good character, and you are super good, like a fairy.
Maybe it's something useful. Maybe it's something beneficial, culturally speaking. Maybe it allows you, for your people to become more like the heroes.
Yeah. More like hero, like the saint,
Yeah.
like the angel. But life doesn't reflect but like that. It depends.
Would you consider Vietnamese education, comparatively speaking, something modern or something old?
Very horrible education system. Can you imagine? We have British international school, Canadian international school, Australian international school, French international school in Vietnam.
That's
and
good, right?
it costs you €1,000 per month for the 2-year-old boy. And Vietnamese people have to pay it.
Yep.
Because of the quality. Then you can see the government school is how horrible they are.
But then they go out to the world and are really well educated, aren't they?
Yeah, of course. But why do you go to international school? Because you cannot afford, you cannot stand the local the government one.
I just remembered. You know what? I haven't asked you. What are the dialects of Vietnam? Because usually people tell me that even though their country has one official language, when they speak about dialects, they say, "Oh yeah, we have almost 100." And then if you go to a particular region, even though it's the same country, I wouldn't understand if they spoke the dialect.
We have some, but not that much. Yes, there's some dialects, but not that much that you cannot understand. Not like in China.
China has the Mandarin and something else, right?
Yeah, and if you come from other city, when you speak, I cannot recognize. But we have only one dialect. Yes, we have some, but not that much difficult to recognize. Some words, yes.
So you would understand all Vietnamese people?
Most of the time, also because I work with so many people, so I'm familiar and I travel quite a lot.
Even in Vietnam?
Mm.
Vietnam is big, right?
Mm.
How do you travel in Vietnam?
By car, by train, by flight. It depends. But the safest one is by train.
Mm.
And the most dangerous one is by car.
Why?
Because people get the driving license by paying money. And if you drunk and you drive and you make accidents, still you just pay money and then things will be done.
Do you mean corrupt or legal?
Mm.
Oh, corrupt.
Mm.
Oh, so
corruption. So that's why.
So if you would have driven your car into your house in Vietnam, it will be all fine.
Yep.
Yep.
Even I drive my car into my neighbor house, it's also be fine if I have lots of money. So that's why people don't learn properly and people drive. That's what made me really mad when I'm back to Vietnam and my friend get wrong and he said, I will drive. I said, no, I will go by taxi. I will not go with you. He said, what's the matter with you? Are you mad or what? We drink and we drive. What's wrong? I just cannot.
Man, you're savages over there. That's
just cannot understand and I just cannot bear that kind of mindset. Like really responsibility, be responsible for even yourself and me. So and it's a shame to him that I will go by taxi. So I said I don't drive when I drink. I'm not drunk. I never drunk, but I don't want to drive when I drink. He said, what's wrong with you? We drunk and we drive. What's wrong?
Yeah.
I showed you. I will drive my car in the one-way street, in the opposite side of the one-way street, and he showed me and said, oh my goodness, don't. You never be my hero by doing that stupid things. So he just.
So why did he do that?
Just to show me like he's manly, he's powerful, he's rich, he's successful. He can break all the law. If you cannot buy anything by money, then buy it with a higher amount of money.
Ah.
So, and one more thing is that they really, really love to eat wild animal.
Well, that's always good.
And to show your
everywhere.
position and you're successful and that kinds of things, then you
that's
invite
everywhere.
your friends of the wild animal. And one wild animal costs you like €200, that kinds of thing. And I said, oh,
wait a second, to buy?
Huh?
You mean to buy or to shoot yourself?
No, just go to restaurant and
oh, well,
order.
All right, then it's just expensive food. I thought you meant that they go out hunting.
No.
That's expensive as well,
they're
hunting.
not allowed to hunt by...
you mean Vietnamese people are not allowed to hunt?
Yeah.
Come on.
Legally. We don't sell fishing license. We just hunt illegal only. We don't sell fishing license. We don't sell hunting license.
Are you sure?
Yeah. We have nothing to hunt and nothing to fish. We eat them all already. We kill them all.
Wow.
That's why nothing for hunting or for fishing.
Wait a second, but Vietnam, Vietnam grows a lot.
Yeah. Every day, every second.
See?
So I feel so lonely when I'm back to Vietnam.
Because?
Yes. I'm talk in the same way they talking, and I'm not in the same shoes and same boat with them.
Could it
when
be?
I go to the party, all are men and up to midnight. Said, where is woman? So I said, what the hell you talking about? Oh, woman job, they at home, take care of children, blah, blah, blah. So that's woman stupid things. Leave them alone. I said, why? It's unfair. So I said, what's wrong with you?
Could it be that you just had, the workplace at Coca-Cola provided you with something more when it comes to seeing the world?
Yeah,
not
only because Coca-Cola.
Because I would imagine if you would have gotten a job at a local company or whatever, you would probably be driving in a one-way street in the opposite direction right now.
It's not only because of lots of things like your colleagues and your mindset and
your mindset is what
your culture.
Your mindset is what I'm talking about. Your mindset was impressed by international people.
Yeah.
Your mindset was impressed
also
by other
because
people.
of money and your living standard and your open of your mind, and so it's a lot.
You got lucky, right? You got lucky, but with the people you met.
No. I decide my fate in my life, not depends on the luck.
Now you get just cocky. Do you actually want to go back to Vietnam as a tourist or as a local when you go back? Do you feel as a tourist or
I feel like a tourist.
Yeah.
And I feel so lonely there. Oh my goodness.
But it still draws you to go there.
Actually, I don't want to go. Like, it cost me so much time, 5 or 7 weeks, 6 weeks. It cost me so much time, so I prefer to travel around the world. But like
you have the option to actually
use
a lot of time, right?
Not enough. Like I need like 1 week for my family. I need one week for my friends in university and secondary school and high school and master school.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That you have the option of actually staying as long as you want.
Yes, but it's always to be effective. It must be longer than 1 month, and then it's too much.
Take 2 months. Take 3 months.
I will in April. So what do you think about we go together to Vietnam in April?
No thanks.
Why not?
I mean, I'm too lazy of a traveler.
No.
If you can teleport me, all right, I'm in.
I can take you on my shoulder.
All right. Well, I want to see that.
Because the ticket is really cheap in March or April. It's just like 500 euro, 480 euro only.
It's not that. It's just that it's really inconvenient. I don't like travel that much. I mean, here's how I mostly describe to people who think because I'll get lots of guests and many times they think I'm a traveler myself.
Yeah. And that made me really surprised.
And then I
even don't hang out. Forget about traveling.
What do you mean hang out? Oh,
like go out, outdoor activities, extroverts.
Yeah, I do that, but I do it when it's convenient. All right.
No, I do with somebody else, not with you.
So when people ask me that, I always tell them, look, either I get paid to travel, or something's waiting for me that's just a bomb, and I need to go there. That's all 2 options. I'm not the person who just wants to go around. Oh, look at that, some landscape. Oh, look at that, some building. I'm definitely not into that. It's just that, you know what it is? It's just too convenient here. It's just too convenient. I mean, it's too comfortable. It's sort of like saying, well, you are sleeping on a nice bed. Why won't you change it for 2 weeks for some hard floor? Right? No. Why would I do that?
I will get mad if I don't travel.
But you are used to it. It's a little bit different because you are you are without roots, in a sense. You don't have your roots, so you are everywhere. You are cosmopolitan. And once your little kiddo wants to be president, then you will say that Latvia is your home.
Now too.
Well,
Now
Latvia is your residence
No.
right now.
Now,
Let's be honest.
I really surprised. My kids say we go to Vietnam, but we go home to Latvia. So unconsciously. So they said, we travel to Vietnam. Yes, mommy, where will we go this summer? Yes, we travel.
They are small. They look every...
Because they're small, so they're really sensitive and they not get biased by anything else. So because I got biased from you and because respect you, I will say, oh, Latvia is not suck. Latvia is beautiful. So this elders, but children, they don't get biased by anything and they don't respect or bullshit. So they just say what they feel. So they said, I'm really surprised. They said, yeah, we travel to Paris, we travel to Vietnam, we go home.
Yeah, you are home. You are the mommy.
We always said Latvia become our home because we have job, because we all are here.
For your kids, you are just home.
Yeah, I said because my family also here. Money, job, investment, house, everything is here. My dog is here. That's why I feel like in my house, in my home country.
Yeah.
Especially in Easter or New Year or Christmas, I'm always living in the family atmosphere with my friends and with his grandparents, grandmom, and his parents, and so I just feel like I'm their daughter.
Why not?
It's really great. So every year.
Did you miss it at some point? Did you feel that you actually? Did you feel a void for that? Did you actually want something like that to be present all the time?
Mm-hmm. So that you don't feel
because it seems to me that you did that already before you came into Latvia. That you just took your already established habits of meeting the family and being around and just transferred it to another place.
Just different person and transfer the place.
Yeah, you just changed the place.
So I choose, like, your parents become my parents by the way they treat me, by the way I treat them. So the second house, the second home, the second... Oh, by the way, I will adopt twin girls.
Why? Why would you adopt? You're still young. Why wouldn't you make yourself?
No more.
Why wouldn't you make?
No more.
Wait, so how many do you have? Two?
Two.
So it's not that many. You are a tough lady. You can press out some more.
If you offer, otherwise no thanks. No, it's too much. It's too much time and effort.
Really? I never heard of that argument.
Forget about children. It costs you so much time and effort and money and love and it's horrible.
Wait a second. You are talking about pregnancy or about raising children?
Oh.
Yeah, but
anything related to children is expensive.
All right, but if you adopt children, you will raise them.
I cut off some years.
Well,
so they are 5 years old now.
Damn. Sounds old.
Old?
Sounds old.
I want them a little bit older, then I don't need to take care a lot of for them. But actually, put it by this way, I'm not in the position that I have to take them. So
of course you're not. That's why I ask you. What's the reason?
So my sister get married with her husband. Her husband has a brother, but the brother is disabled, and the brother has a twin, and they divorced.
It's all right. It started getting complicated. So your sister is getting married to one dude, that one dude has another dude, and that dude has another dude?
No, that dude has a twin.
So a brother, the twin brother?
Yeah, the twin girl, the twin sister.
Who?
The husband of my sister has a brother. The brother has the two daughters. The twin daughters. And he disabled person.
So?
And he divorced.
Yeah.
And the mommy of the twins doesn't want them. Bye.
Is she Vietnamese?
Yes.
Living in Latvia?
No, living in Vietnam.
Well, that's a hassle then, for sure. Because he's in Latvia, right?
No, he's in Vietnam too.
They're all in
Vietnam, all their family. And I think the second month or the third month, he say goodbye to her twin daughters. I don't want you, bye. Even she doesn't have
Are you,
boyfriend.
are you sure that she was saying it like that? Maybe.
I don't know, but she don't take care of them.
Well,
And they live with the parents
yeah.
of him.
Mm-hmm.
And the father of him is disabled person. And the mother had to take care of the twins 3, 4, 5 months.
Well, what's the disability?
He cannot walk. He cannot drive the motorbike or a car.
Mm-hmm.
He just hang around in the house and he have something, but you had to help him a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And they are old.
Yeah.
And I really don't know when the mother.
So it sounds like you should adopt the old father and, and the disabled dude.
So now everything is on the shoulder of the mom. And the mom is, I think, 70 years old or 65, something like that. And with the old people, you don't know what will happen tomorrow.
Well, all right, but you'd probably have some social workers in
Forget
Vietnam.
about it. No,
right?
no,
Some
no,
social
no,
going
no,
on?
No, forget about it.
Why? How come?
I don't know, but we have no social affair.
You grew up in Vietnam, and look at you. So why are you so skeptical about
Not skeptical, but
having children in Vietnam being raised by Vietnamese people?
we had 90 million people there, and look at them. So if you meet any Vietnamese who said that,
because you could actually, if you would like to provide for those twins, you could just pay for them, and they could live in Vietnam, grow up, and you will just finance.
Who will take care of them?
Somebody, some
tomorrow,
nanny, perhaps. Because the nanny probably.
And then it will be very expensive, and then
Vietnam?
they cannot deliver the job of the aunt or mother.
You get the point. If you want to take responsibility for those two, you can actually do it via just financing and making sure that they grow up nice and healthy in Vietnam. You don't need to really adopt them because it's a hassle. It's a total hassle. Especially if you have 5 and 6 year olds. You cannot program them much anymore. You need to have some kids to program. Young. You need to program those little.
It's a big job, but it seems like if I don't do it, I will destroy the future of the two people, human being.
That's a little bit too much. That's a little bit too much.
I cannot imagine what will happen if tomorrow I receive a phone call from the mom of him and say, "Hey, I'm in the hospital. I cannot walk." And I really don't know how the life of
You told me that everybody from their family and relatives are in Vietnam, so they probably have some more relatives to take care of those kids.
Now even their mom doesn't want it, so nobody want it. It's not my responsibility.
And what about the husband of your sister, right?
He's in Latvia now.
And his brother?
His brother is in Vietnam.
Is the disabled one?
Yeah.
And so they don't have any acquaintances, friends, family, relatives who could actually take care of those children?
Up to now, 5 years passed already. And
what do you mean?
Nothing. 5 years already, because the children was 5 years old. So 5 years passed already from the day their mom say goodbye. So yes, they receive some money to survive for the month, and the father can give some money, but I really don't know like who will take care. So if I can afford, then I will afford. So now I start talking to my children. What do you think if we have 2 more sister? What will you do? So they said, no, I want brother. I don't want sister. We cannot fight. I said, you need to listen. Sister is really nice. We can play some game.
You need to negotiate already.
Yeah, we start influence them. How your life will be changed.
It's awkward. It's just awkward. That's it. It's unusual to have some adopted siblings.
Really?
For sure.
I don't have any daughter, then I adopt.
Because I would have imagined that you are a real purist when it comes to family.
What?
That you are a real purist. That everything needs to be the same blood. That everything needs to be the same real. Everything needs to be real. No legal adoption, no nothing. I would have imagined that you are a real purist. You want everything pure.
I'm not that selfish.
Well, it's not really selfish if you think about it. It's just that
we have now not charity. So you have another level of higher than charity is autologotry.
Hmm?
Do you know that word? So it's charity, and you cannot call Bill Gates do the charity anymore. Bill Gates and Warren Buffett, he do the autologotry. It's a higher level of charity.
Well, it's still a charity.
No, like it is the contribution for the community. It is the make the community more developing and more contribution and make it better.
If there's a special term for that, I don't know. But it's still just it's just a philanthropy through a charitable work.
So
nothing
so
special
I just
there.
try to make things better. And
again, but Warren Buffett isn't adopting anybody. You see what I mean?
So he has his own way. I don't need to copy him.
Because you can have definitely an impact, a beneficial impact on many people in your life, without actually you taking the time to establish something. You can actually just provide the means of establishing the conditions.
It will be different, yeah. So, and also I want to buy a small flat in Riga. Then I can have some Vietnamese students, the young people who not have enough money to support for overseas studying, but they're really good, they passionate, they know what they want, and I will sponsor for them to come here to study, because studying in Latvia is quite cheap compared to US or UK or Austria.
But probably not compared to Vietnam.
Not much higher, but much better education system here.
But
in terms of quality.
But there's a real irony in what you just said. Think about it. You would like to actually make an impact, a social benefit. You just told me that.
I don't have that much impact or that much power.
Yeah, but you would like to actually use your means to help
as much as I can.
Help other people, and preferably your people in Vietnam, people from Vietnam. So the way you are. And think about it. The way you help your people in Vietnam is by getting them out of Vietnam. So
first, I don't. It's their choice. They want to get out or whatever. It's their choice. So because the most important thing in the life is education to me. So I want to give them the tools. I want to give them the means. I want to give them education.
You probably mean.
And
knowledge.
after graduating, they back to Vietnam or they go to America. That's their job. I don't care.
You probably mean knowledge, not education. Yeah. You probably mean knowledge.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. In the 21st century, you don't really need to be anywhere. You can, if you have internet, if you have IT infrastructure, if you have supportive people.
I prefer to go to Oxford or Cambridge or Harvard.
You told me that, right.
Or stupid
and I told you what I think
in India or China.
You told me that, and I told you that is silly. You little girl, that's totally silly. What you want, that you think Harvard is better.
If you go, your destination is Vietnam, and you have to go to like Bauska.
Yep.
So if you walk, or you go by bicycle, or by car, or by motorbike, which is faster. So yes, you can walk.
It's not the same. It's not the same. It's not the same.
It's a different means. So you use Harvard like the means, the transportation means.
Not at all. Not at all. Because the effectiveness, when it comes to physical transportation, you just need simple physics to get the effectiveness. When it comes to higher education, you don't have any effectiveness measures whatsoever.
No, they have advanced method and they do some research. They know that they can help you how to drink effectively. They will train you how to drink effectively, get the core idea, how to use it, utilize it, some module.
When it comes to different technical or methodological aspects, sure, but they have nothing exclusive. All that can be actually found if you look for them.
A little bit from environment.
The environment could be, of course, if you get a concentrated amount of people.
So it's all together.
The social aspect for sure, simply because you could actually argue that people are more motivated when they come to a university specifically that's elite university. It might be that case, but when it comes to the knowledge that you are looking for, they don't have any advantage whatsoever in the 21st century, at least. I mean, they even admit it. I mean, billionaires in America just say, well, look, if you would need a higher education nowadays, don't go to an Ivy League school. Just go to a community college. You will get the same benefits without the expense burden, and still, most the jobs that are current today won't be current in 10 years, probably. I mean, they still want to find ways to actually automate car driving. They want to automate a lots of things. So if you want something that's really of long value, you still find the same information. It's just that whether or not you are motivated enough to seek it. Because usually when you have higher education institutions, it means somebody has to pay for them, usually parents. So which means that you might not even be really that interested in it. You just have to do it. So it whereas a dude in a community college who has motivated himself to actually have something and do something, he will outcompete that other one in the school where his parents wanted him to be 10 times out of 10, simply because the motivation is not there for him. So that's the biggest risk. That's for sure the biggest risk. And the impact that you can make is just by setting an example. You didn't go to Harvard, and still you have knowledge.
If I go to Harvard, then I'm not here now.
Yeah, you would be in some blue collar work, perhaps even.
I can be the colleague of news.
It's not like that. Look, it still has prestige for sure, but only for those people who don't really know much. And it's still a lot of people who don't know much. But it will change
it
a
like
lot.
Just a means, like
They have all. Here's the biggest issue. Most of the big and prestigious universities in the world are in the Commonwealth countries. Well, UK and America, and they used to be somewhat elite for different kinds of purposes. But nowadays they are not. I mean, even an Indian could go and get in some ways into Harvard, for instance. And that's the biggest issue for them, because they have tuition fees that are really high just to have a filter. It's essentially a filter, because they don't really need the money. The biggest money the biggest universities make is by investing. They have so much assets nowadays. They are like a bank for themselves. They don't really need any students to actually earn money. They make their money by investing in financial investments. That's it. So it's not about knowledge anymore. Higher education for top universities is not about knowledge anymore. It's really about, you want some prestigious university degree? For sure, we can provide that. We still have the reputation, but they don't have the same effectiveness. That's the issue. If you talk about, let's say, economic matters, probably you could find maybe some CEOs of some companies are some graduates from Ivy League schools, but most self-made billionaires and self-made millionaires in America, not in the least. Many times they didn't even finish college, right? So there you have it.
But that is another extreme. The billionaires, so in the average,
I mean
they
also
provide
millionaires.
They provide better education system and method.
In what terms? That's the issue. The real question. The real question for you is what is education to you? Is it something you rehearse to just put on the exam, or is it something that you can actually ingrain in your mind and use it to grow something more, to synthesize something that wasn't there before? If the latter, then you don't need any specific university. If it's the former, then.
For example, if you learn English, you learn by yourself and with the stupid book, then it will take you 10 years. But if you go to the center, they have audio, they have video, they have really funny icon to stimulate your memory and that kinds of things. Then you have really good teacher who summarize for you what is simple past, what is simple present, what is grammar, how to do it.
Nobody,
then you go faster.
Yeah, but nobody actually learns languages that way. The only real effective, at least in terms of effectiveness, is the only method I know is just immersion, which means that you start like a baby. You get into the environment, you don't understand anything, but you start
not
actually.
That way. So
yeah, well,
I learned by this. So
yeah, but that's the most effective way.
A subject and then a verb and then object. For verb you have to be, and then to be if present is is, and then passive will be to be plus participle for participle, and then for to be for if you go to past present participle.
See, that's what I mean. If you have something,
need a good method, good school, good teacher, good knowledge,
if you have language or any other information that's actually being created by humans, the only way you can actually learn that skill, because it's a skill, knowledge in that sense is just a skill. The only way you learn that skill is by actually doing the same way as it is being created. So learning means just figuring out how it's being created. And language isn't created by somebody telling, all right, now I need a word that would express the past in another form. All right, let's make... No, it doesn't happen. They phonetically most of the time just speak and something just sticks, and then it just evolves. It just evolves.
It's not the way to learn. So,
no, really. No, really.
Oh no!
Here you will see how you dropped your phone. Wait for it. Whoop.
You look so happy.
You amuse me.
So that's the way I learn English, and it's so quickly. If I had a method and a good teacher, the same way I learned how to pen. I have super good teacher who know me very well and who let me free to do it, and she just give me some principle and how things go, and then she based on what I have. So I really need a good teacher, and then in the good university I have good teacher and good method.
It seems to me that you consider a good teacher to be somebody who lets you be you.
In terms of painting.
So that's the pedagogy, or I don't know what the pronunciation for that word is, but that's the approach you actually have in teaching. You consider the person who is to be taught. That's the first. So nobody has a methodology for everybody. Every approach should be somewhat individualistic. So when you have someone you call a good teacher, it just means that they consider your individualistic needs.
It's not that they understand you and they know what is the proper method.
That's what I just said. That's what I just said.
So I sent him the address to pick me up.
Wow.
In half an hour later.
Oh.
So what?
No, I thought you showed me the finger again, but no, it was the index finger. All good.
So
false alarm, people.
I still interested in the good school, and there is always the reason why they become the best one in the world.
Who?
The good school, university.
They don't. That's the funny thing about it. They don't. Most of the time.
Everybody will say Harvard is much better than Riga University.
More prestigious, more known in the world, yes. But to what end do you consider the degree useful? Of having something to show for yourself in a way that, oh, look, I have Harvard in my CV.
Good job and good.
Yeah, but you don't want your kids to be endless employees. You probably want your kids to be actually able to
But
decide
they go to Harvard.
decide for themselves.
Yes, they go to Harvard and they decide what they want.
It's not that. That's the funny thing about it. All sociology experiments and analyses show you that. It's not the case. It's not the case for a long time. It's just that, yes, here's the marketing part of having Ivy League schools. If you make something more expensive, you will
Then
definitely
you can
find
have
people
premium.
who will think, oh, it has a better quality. That's it. That's it. And that's the biggest issue when it comes to having the consideration to the, well, I would say 20th century and the history of schooling in the 20th century. Because if you consider, let's say, at the start of 20th century in America, if you wouldn't have the, I didn't say that right, but either way, if Rockefeller, Carnegie, and some other big rich guys wouldn't be around at that time, you wouldn't have any real professional schools nowadays, because they established those. That's because they saw a problem and they wanted to make sure that the problem is addressed by having knowledge. They didn't want to have, let's say, a specific profession. They didn't want to have a specific reputation. They just wanted a specific need. Well, they thought as business persons. They considered there's a social need for something, and what would be the most effective way to addressing that problem. So what they did was to actually find out who has problems and who could solve those problems and by what means. And usually it was by research institutes, universities, and a lot on similar things, right? But in nowhere, shape or form were they concerned about whether or not it will be prestigious. The prestige comes from a social hierarchy, and those guys were totally against that. Those guys were totally against elite anything because they didn't come from elites themselves. Rockefeller, Carnegie came from humble beginnings and made themselves into one of the richest people in the world, right? Whereas at that time, the start of the 20th century and the end of the 19th century in the UK, you would have found so many people who are looking down on the gentry, that you have those upper class people, those posh people who consider themselves gentlemen, and then you have the bigger population who are not gentlemen. They are farmers, they are workers. So, and the education system of having elite schools was made by those people who looked down on people. Whereas the new age, the new inventions of the 20th century, the new research that was founded and established all types of different innovations was established by those dudes who said, screw those elites in any shape. We need just the effective means of having knowledge being used. So in the 21st century, the biggest problem is just who actually has the better knowledge system or the better system for capturing and enhancing knowledge. And nobody has the answer to that because all is subjective. Nowadays, if you speak one language, it means you will have a certain amount of knowledge available to you. If you speak another language, totally different playground. And if you consider the whole world globally, you definitely need English to at least comprehend the world. But what you can also see, so that socially, many times people don't really tend to speak other languages, especially in the big countries, because they are in a bubble. They don't see the big picture. But at one point, and that's what the big billionaires nowadays are saying, you need to look more into the future. It won't be that borders are so important, that your ethnicity will be that important. It's just what knowledge do you have, and how can you use that knowledge? Nobody will care about, oh, you have a nice CV. What can I find about you on Google? That's it. On Facebook, on Google, and that's it. Your identity will be digital. Your CV will be, in a sense, digital. So if you have knowledge and you can show it, prove it, market it on the digital platform, good. If not, the traditional jobs are just fading away. I mean, who in the 21st century, let's say in the Western countries, would like to do the jobs that Apple workers in China do nowadays? Nobody. That's why the jobs are there, not in America, because the Chinese people are still in that phase of development where they consider those jobs actually applicable to them. After, I don't know, 50 years, they will probably say, oh no, we are not interested, we want knowledge jobs. And then they will move the factories to probably Africa, probably, because they are still in the Middle Ages many times. So that's why the biggest issue for your children is probably whether or not they seek knowledge. That's it. And in a sense that if they would, let's say in a more specific way, if your child grows up and says, oh look, I'm so interested, I'm so passionate about astrophysics, and so I want to know everything about astrophysics, and regarding this topic you have only, let's say, 3 people in the world who actually know many things about it, and all those 3 people are in America, and all those 3 people are in 1 or 2 universities. So my options are actually to pursue my interests just 2 universities. Then it's a different ball game for you. Then you can say, all right, I have the means to provide you with the let's say the funding that you can actually go there, and because that's what in a way that's what Warren Buffett did when he grew up. He was just reading a lot because he wasn't a very physical boy, but he was a really eager boy, and he was somewhat hustling many times. He was a small entrepreneur even from his childhood, and his father at one point was a congressman. He was in the American Congress, so he got access to the Congress library, and so he went to the library and just read. He read a lot, many hours every day. He just got into the habit of reading a lot, and at the point where he had to go or wanted to go to the university or college, he knew what he wanted just because he taught himself so many things. He learned himself so many things. He already knew what his strong sides are and where he would actually like to pursue them. And he knew, oh, I want to actually a teacher. He knew what teacher he wanted because he had read his books. And so he knew where to go. He knew where the professor is actually teaching. He knew where he wanted to go, and that's it. But he didn't pursue anything that would have a credential. He pursued knowledge that came from a specific source. And since he knew that source, he went to that source directly, and he had the means to do so. And whereas, let's say, some Bill Gates, I know that he was actually in the university, but he also was in the habit of reading books many hours every day. There's a funny thing, I don't know where, either his biography or somewhere, it was stated that at one point when Bill Gates was a child, his parents needed to make an agreement with him that he doesn't read books more than 4 hours a day, because he was reading 8 hours, 10 hours a day. So they made an agreement not more than 4 hours a day, right? So now you couldn't actually force any child almost to read book for 4 minutes, right? And then but again, he read books, many books throughout his childhood, and once he was an adult, he just knew, all right, I don't need the college, I don't need the university. He dropped out. As far as I know, he didn't finish. He just didn't finish. Yeah, and that's it. Because he had the knowledge already. Why wouldn't he bother with the infrastructure of getting knowledge if he had already the knowledge that everybody actually didn't have? He had this exclusive knowledge. And that's the market value of anybody nowadays, whether or not you have some form of exclusive knowledge. And for that, you really don't need any institution whatsoever. It's just that whether or not you start early, you develop the habits, and you get some sense of achievement, of success out of that. Because nowadays, if you would say, oh, I just read a lot, well, good luck, right? You don't have any diploma for reading books, right? And that's the biggest issue. Because people feel that they get validated by some social construct, by a high-priced degree, by some high price job. But really, when it comes to here's the funny thing, when it comes to American culture, it's so awkward to see so many quote unquote successful people being depressed, being actually miserable in many ways, simply because they thought they chased a mirage. They chased something that wasn't actually of value to them. So and that's why I liked. Do you know the movie Fight Club?
Fight Club.
Fight Club, like in fighting.
Mm-hmm.
It was a 2000, even 1999 or 2000. I think you would like the movie just because you like physical men. You like men getting physical.
I have some note with good movie and good book,
Mhm.
so that I will note them all and then I will fight what?
Fight and club. Fight Club.
Yeah.
Because it's actually, the movie is based on a book, actually.
So I have some note for good movies, sex art, and then I have the list. So whenever I know anything, then I will put it in like movie. What's that? And then I have some for kids about Latvia,
Very good.
and gardening, and about like travel, new
Very good.
painting, chicken soup for myself. Good music, how to learn Latvian,
Hmm.
and book, because I cannot have all the book I want. So better I put on. So who is the good writer? Which is good book? Which is good link for me to read? What's the erotic Japanese book?
Hmm.
So in the topic, and who is the good review? So I just read his review, his point of view about the book, then I can screen it.
Well, for instance, for erotica, that's definitely the best way to have actually some references to just make sure that it's
To save your time,
yeah, exactly.
help you to filter.
Because when it comes to the movie, it's just that it was based on a best-selling book, and the book was actually
Much better than the movie.
well, it's a difficult statement. Because
No, normally I think
'Cause
everybody said book always better than the movie.
look, that's
The movie cannot deliver the spirit of the book.
if it's something of let's say of shallow value, yes. But the Fight Club was all about having a social critique. It wasn't about having a plot of having heroes and villains. It was more of having a storyline, but the storyline represents a critique about social norms of 2000. So one of the best lines in that movie, and probably in the book as well, is that the main character, at one point, he reflects, and he says, "You, how was it? You start chasing the things and." You start chasing material things to feel validated in some sorts. So the things you own end up owning you, right? In a way that you are chasing just something that's artificial. It's not real, and so
Yeah.
you have the possibility of some what's it called, introspection, of actually looking into it on a deep level. And seeing that what you chase is just nothing to be chased, and so that's the social critique aspect. But when it comes to the storyline, you just have a well-trained. Do you know the actor Brad Pitt? Yeah, you just have the actor Brad Pitt having with no shirt, and that's it, fighting. So I think that's you have the visual and you have the mental as well. That it's a looking back, I mean, it's a almost 20-year-old movie. It would be still relevant today, trust me.
Mm-hmm.
That's for sure. And you get that type of films, you just get, because it's considered nowadays a cult movie.
Mm-hmm.
A cult movie simply because it's so relevant in a way. It didn't have the internet back then, but no, it did have, but on a really small scale. But it's definitely culturally, it's definitely the same. whereas you have value and you have price, and how many times price reflects value and how to differentiate those. So, and that's what the people say about those higher education institutions as well, that most of the time it's rather price than value. So the price sort of reflects the perceived value, but once people get into it, turns out it was just a perceived value. Because many times you don't really, because here's the thing, the problem with I think the biggest problem with what they face is the modern world becomes too dynamic. So at a point where you write a book, it can become at least partly irrelevant by the time you publish it, simply because, let's say, 1 year has passed and something has changed, and what now do we teach it, do we do something with it? So it's just changes. So and that's where actually the humanities come into play, because humanities for the most part don't really change that much. So all social sciences, medical field, when it comes to the basics at least, doesn't really change that much. People have been around for a long time, they will be around for a long time, still the same problems, just different people. So yeah, that might be the one you would like to look into. Oh, actually, speaking about education, have you ever considered the, what's it called, Montessori?
Yeah.
So
we
do you
have
know?
it in Vietnam as well.
Do you consider that for your children?
But they have it here as well, right?
Yeah.
School.
Yeah. But have you considered that? I mean, you have sent your children to just regular kindergarten or regular school, right?
Because I heard that Latvian school is really good one.
Compared to what, I guess?
They said even like compared to your neighbors like Germany, UK, and
depends on who Googles faster. That's it. I mean, really. The you know what? The only difference I could have, I mean, I meet regularly lots of people, right? The only difference when I can actually state is whether or not somebody reads, and that's it. That's the only difference. The depth of conversation becomes just
so read and travel.
bigger.
So
Travel not anymore.
You can learn a lot.
Travel is not that anymore. In the 21st century, it's not that impactful anymore. I mean, it definitely has lots of merit, but it has lost some of its value just because we are in the information age. That's it. Because traveling used to be collecting information most of the time. Because experience and impressions are just information for you, and you share the information and you can use the information whatever you like. Nowadays, that information gets diminished by the fact that you can actually travel without even moving. You can see the world without even going there. So that's a big difference. Whereas knowledge, reading books, I mean, there's no more effective way as to just read a book, because it takes probably some minutes or maybe 1 hour to write a newspaper article, whereas to write a book takes a long time to write, which means that you as a reader can probably be sure that somebody actually made the effort of thinking through at least most of it. So
and now you just digest it.
Yes, you get
knowledge of somebody, 10 years of knowledge of somebody in 1 hour.
You get the expertise right there. So, I mean, I wish it would be that easy that you could just download it on your hard drive and that's it. I mean, that would be rare. Imagine the world we would live then if anybody could do that. Because nowadays, have you actually considered that sometimes people just need encouragement to read to change their lives?
Yeah.
Because I think many times, because when I meet people who have some issues, most of the time I feel, oh, I think I know that from there. I know this problem from there. You see already patterns, but they just don't know about it. They're ignorant about the patterns. It's like they want to invent the wheel all over again.
So that's why I really love reading the book and like my children in the habit, and it's become the habit. Like they really crazy of the book, like my little boy. So, and now I have to read for them all, like 600 pages without picture, and you can see the progress at the beginning. The picture is like this, and just 2 words, and then the picture and the wording will be 50-50, and then no more picture, because my children cannot read now. They still don't know how to read. So my goodness, I read for them like 1,000 pages with their picture, 2,000 pages, so always like that.
At one point, you might as well give them English text, right?
Both English, Vietnamese, and Latvian.
Again, if you have to prioritize, English is the
best.
Yeah, the one of them. That's for sure.
But Vietnamese will take care of their spirits and their soul. So.
You really think that?
Yeah.
How come?
Nothing compared to your mother tongue and mother things.
Hmm?
Nothing compared to your mother tongue and mother things. So English is for knowledge and to approach.
But why would you think that Vietnamese is for a spiritual sense more suited? How come?
Like when I say I love you, so you cannot be like get that much spirit when I say it in Latvian. So the same.
Well, you just have different experiences using different words. That's it. But the meaning can be conveyed the same.
The meaning is flying, fluttering, something like that. When I say to you, like, you are so handsome, you don't get any feeling. But we say it in Latvian, in another word, playing around with wording and combination of wording, you still feel, I don't know, but mother tongue still impact your soul. And
it's definitely the case that sometimes another language has a better way of saying something.
Your mother tongue is always the best. Your mother tongues.
What do you mean with modern tongues?
Mother tongue language.
What is a modern tongue language then?
Your native language.
Mother tongue. I thought you modern.
Mother.
Well, the mother tongue.
I don't know, but when I read the book, I feel really good with Vietnamese. That's the
thing. If you have a established language, yes, maybe. But again, I mean, I'm telling you, most Latvians don't speak proper Latvian. I can guarantee you that. So it's too complicated of a language.
When you listen to the Latvian song and English song, so which make you moving?
English.
Really?
Yeah.
Then I read
I'm used to English speaking music. Or English worded music.
Vietnamese book, my Vietnamese song, so I feel moving and touching much more than English. English to me like plastic or commercial. When they say I love you, so okay, I love you.
Here's the interesting part. It seems that you just attach an identity to language, which is sort of interesting. Because why would you make an identity for a language? It's just a means of communicating. It's nothing more. So the communication.
It's not just a means of communication. It's the spirit. It is like your childhood.
But that's what I'm saying.
Your understanding, your knowledge about the language,
but that's what I'm saying.
Memories and.
Because that's the spirit is essentially a brand. Technically speaking, it's just something, a symbol of conveying a feeling. That's it. So the spirit is essentially a symbol of conveying a feeling. So
I don't have any touching moving when you say I love you in English. But if you say it in Vietnamese, it's much more touching to me than you say in English.
I see what you mean. It's just that interesting that you feel that way. That you have actually the relationship as an identity. Because that's an identity. Because technically love translated to Vietnamese still means love. So the content of that word is being just
the same.
Yeah, the intent of saying the word is
the same.
Identical. It's just that the identity attached to it is not the same for you. So that's the interesting part.
So when somebody call me honey, I still don't feel touching and moving like honey in Vietnamese.
Because it's, again, I suppose then it's just related to what are you more accustomed to? Maybe that.
Maybe
it's just habitual. It's just habitual. Because you could definitely see some of the same aspects in families who had moved, let's say, one generation before to another, let's say to America, and the parents felt that same way.
Whereas
the children grew up, everything's just
yeah,
fine.
Yeah.
And they don't have the same.
Vietnamese, American Vietnamese family in America.
Mm.
The next generation, they totally don't speak Vietnamese. They just speak English.
Well, the funny thing is, America is just too big of a place, it seems to me, to be actually... I mean, if you think about America nowadays, you think of one country, right? Whereas actually there are 50 countries. There's really 50 countries.
That's why they have nothing. They look like the hot pot. You put whatever in. They have no culture, no history, no identification. It's just a hot pot.
Yeah, maybe it's good.
Yeah, why not? Because they become strong.
Because see, I'm still, even though I don't participate in it, I'm still attached to the identity of black balsam in Latvia, right? I'm not responsible for black balsam. Why would it be a part of my Latvian identity? But it is. Everybody who comes to Latvia, oh, black balsam, right? See, that's the issue. I inherited that identity in a way. And the only difference I can make is just say, well, yeah, it's for tourists. That's it. I don't drink it. I don't know anybody who drinks it. So the same for, I suppose, for the Americans. Because nowadays, really, the young Americans who come, I don't see any difference from Europeans. Not in the least. Almost the same. The older Americans, yeah, that's where I feel... It's
Americans
a little bit
still really commercial and industrial with their Santa and KFC and McDonald's, and I still feel the difference between American guy and European guy. European guy, he's more like romantic, historical, and not digital in the way of thinking.
I'm not sure.
But commercial guy, the American guy is like commercial and fast and instant KFC and McDonald's.
It's definitely a different culture. And
yes.
In Europe, it's the same. You have totally different cultures.
Like when I hang out with a European guy, he starts saying something like, so he starts approaching by holding the hand, and how as he go around and around, and the American guy, let's go to hotel.
Well,
so very commercial,
isn't
material, American style.
But isn't that the stereotype of Americans, that they actually have the same considerate questions, but they might not mean it? I mean, they do the same things, but they just might not mean it in a meaningful... They don't do it in a meaningful way, they do it in a polite way, to just be polite. That's the stereotype. But as far as I know, American stereotype behavior would be to actually go and tell and ask you those same questions, to speak
straightforward and...
Well, as you said, what you like about Europeans. That would be actually a stereotype for Americans, that they do speak that way, they just don't mean it. In a way, they are just polite. In a way that, let's say, when you meet Australians, be prepared that everything is awesome, everything's awesome. And it sometimes it just gets annoying. You just overuse certain words. You don't convey the same emotion. Yeah. It has no emotion. Everything's just some shallow.
Too much.
Yeah. And maybe that's the culture you don't like.
Maybe.
But when they really say the words you would say in a certain context, they probably mean it the same. It's just that they tend to overuse certain things, that it gets devalued when they mean it. When they really mean it, it just gets devalued because other times they didn't mean it. Maybe that. Because it seems to me, when you have Eastern culture, the only big difference is that most of the time discipline is and rigor and hard work is more cherished in a way. I don't know if it's good though. I don't know if it's good. I think lazy people are the innovators. I think the laziness drives the innovation. So if you have people who are willing to work, 10 hours, 12 hours, 16, we will be still in the Stone Ages if we do that. If you say, no, I want to work 4 hours, but I want to get more money, how do I do that? And I want to work 3 hours and want to get even more money, how do I do that? So that's where it becomes interesting. I'm not sure. Do you feel that it's probably not good to actually generalize Vietnamese people at all, right? Because you have different cultural aspects of different regions. But what would you say internationally?
You see lots of Vietnamese girls with me already. I text lots of them to see you already.
I think I've seen only 2 with you, because you came with the same people. Usually, you came with the same people most of the time, as far as I can tell.
In Latvia, we don't have a lot.
Yeah, it's just that it really surprised me that you got into a feud with who's your competitor now. Yeah. That surprised me really, because it seemed to me that you are really just some almost like a lucky couple.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh God! Oh my goodness!
Yeah, you seem so friendly.
Yes, I think that we are friends, and we think that we are brother and sister.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, because he's alone here, he cannot cook, and I think he's really young. I think he's like 10 or 20 years or 15 years younger than me. So like my little boy, my little brother. So whenever I cook good food, I just call him, hey, I have really good food. I will pack it and bring it for you. Because I feel really poor for him that he's here alone with their family and no mommy to cook, and he missed Vietnamese food and that kinds of thing. So yeah, I really think that he's like my really good brother and friends.
Have you actually a favorite dish in your family? In a way that you would say, oh, if I would have to choose one food for a week, then I would definitely take this. Because you know what I was thinking about when I do the podcast, I would actually like to have a certain structure to let's say, because now we are just improvising or going all over the place, but if we would have at least somewhere along the lines some aspects of, oh, what do you say about this topic, and the most I suppose the most interesting thing is about food, and not because it would be traditions or culture, not really. I would like to know where's the nutrition, because I would imagine that you have cultures who have better nutrition than other cultures. Let's say one nation has similar foods as the other nations, but the one nation has better nutrition. They get more nourished by the food. So I would be really interested in that, because that's a really let's say in a even in not just in an academic, but even just a general research, that's one of the things nobody really knows much about. What is the nutrition culturally? Because you see people eating different kinds of foods all over the place, but what is the essentially most effective nutrition, and why? Because people are eating somewhere some wild animals and being all fine, and somewhere they eat just other things and all fine, whereas in the civilized world you see just different illnesses and problems, health problems. So the nutrition is definitely the biggest part, because you wouldn't be able to say that Europe and America is there's a lack of food. In a way, there's no lack of food, but it might be a lack of nutrition, of nourishment. So
but food is not all about nutrition.
I see what you mean. I see what you mean. It's definitely a part of social bonding, having experience, emotion, for sure.
Especially the food from your childhood.
But think about it this way: if you would eat something that makes you not
healthy,
not healthy, and makes you feel uncomfortable, you wouldn't eat it. And if you would
eat it, if it's really yummy and it's my favorite.
See, that's my biggest question. Would you, if you know that particular food causes you to feel that particular way that you don't like? Would you still continue to eat it just because? Because I don't believe you.
Because
if you say that you, but would you like it if you really know that food makes you feel ill?
Even that food make you cancer. But I always cheating
Come
myself.
on, now you are just exaggerating. Now you're just
No.
exaggerating.
And I always
Now you
talk
are
to
just
myself.
in a Vietnamese romance novel. I will get to the sky. You're just exaggerating all over the place.
There's some kinds of food and it's really, really bad for the health. But
For
I
instance,
just closed
give
my
me-
eyes and I
give me-
said,
give me an
okay,
example.
Okay, I just promise I eat once in my life. I will
Give me
never
an
eat
example.
again.
Come on, give me an example.
1,000 kinds of Vietnamese vegetable and fruit, and
Vegetables are unhealthy for you?
they put some like chemicals in that.
Oh, when it comes to chemicals, yeah, all right.
No,
all right.
but they put something like it's not allowed to put in the food.
Oh, yeah, well,
It's
then
for
it's
chemical and it's for the
then it's
stuff,
then it's just a
lubricant.
health hazard. It's not related to the food. It's just related to the health.
But it's
pollution
everywhere.
or something
It's
like that.
everywhere in Vietnam.
Oh, well,
so
yeah,
that's why we cannot export our fruit and our vegetable to anywhere because it's full of chemicals.
But you are a nation still growing, so seems not to be a big problem.
So they said that lots of Vietnamese now has cancer and lots of disease and it's growing really significantly. So the most data fact and figure is that we cannot export even rice to anywhere.
Do you have genetically modified rice?
Everything.
Everything
There are
genetic-
lots of chemical that is not allowed in food is there. That's why we cannot export to anywhere. So normally here you saw
But you
Thailand,
seem fine.
you will get cancer 10 years later, or now cancer is in my blood already, something like that. So in Vietnam now we have like in 1975 we have like war immigration refugees. So
Alright.
immigration because of the war.
Yeah.
And then we have like immigration because of economics.
Alright.
And now we have immigration because of education and food pollution. Now it's become the trend in the society. So now there's some new vocabulary. When you now come to Vietnamese and talk, hey, why don't you think about immigration because of food and air pollution?
All right.
How about immigration because of education? That is my
And
positioning.
doesn't anybody say back, well, how about stopping the pollution?
Nobody will do it because the government support it. Like the steel, did I show you the steel manufacturer from Korea? They do the air pollution and they put on the exhaust into the sea and then they kill the whole of the sea and they kill all the fish, the tons by tons of fish floating on the sea,
Yeah.
and everything was polluted.
Yeah.
And Vietnamese, they come for fighting and they said, I want my sea, I want my fish, go back to Korea. But the government officer, they get money from that company.
Yep.
And they put the person who are on the street fighting for the sea in the jail.
All right. But now you are talking most of the time food in relation to economic matters. But what about in a situation where, for instance, you would go, or somebody in Vietnam would go to a Vietnamese doctor and say, well, look, I want to be stronger, or whatever the case. And so the doctor says, well, then you just need to eat our, you know the recipe, don't you? What about that?
They will recommend use some tablets that they got the high profit margin and bonus from the manufacturer. Pharmaceutical manufacturer.
Supplements?
Yeah. The best way, and it's
But what is-
usually effective.
But what is the traditional way? Because you probably have, let's say, look, how I look at old cultures, because Vietnam is probably an old culture compared to our culture.
You believe in old culture if you are poor and low education and not modern, out of fashion, poor
No,
people.
what I mean, an established, long history of a nation, of a certain identity for a nation. So if you have that, why wouldn't be food essential part of your, let's say, functional development? For instance, so I don't know, 200 years ago, somebody wanted to be taller than his parents, and he didn't become taller, but he figured out that he got stronger because he ate something. So he told everybody else, hey, I got stronger because I ate that. So
That's why we kill all the white animal, because that's stupid belief.
white animal?
White.
You mean chicken?
No, white.
Wild
Like,
animal.
Wild animal.
All right.
So like they believe that they get the horn of hippo and they drink that kinds of things.
Oh,
then
Vietnam has that too? I thought the Japanese people do that.
So
For the potency, to get their dick hard, right?
Yeah.
But does it work?
I don't know, but it's stupid belief.
Because, for instance, if you would take Viagra, you would definitely notice, right?
But there are some in some museum. They show that and they analyze that the horn of the hippo has nothing. It's just
bone.
hair.
It's just bone.
They have the same structure with your hair. So they said
mineral.
instead of drinking the horn of the hippo, drink your hair.
Hmm?
So they have that kind of stuff to prove that you are stupid.
Yeah, but
so
see, the horn is just the shape of a big dick.
Teeth.
No. I mean, the horn is just shaped like a big dick. That's
why.
That's the visual part of it, for sure.
So yeah, we still believe in
because you know the old traditions the native tribes all over the world had that. Oh, you want to have vision, eat the eyes of the animal. If you want the strong muscles, eat the muscles.
Yeah. We also had the same belief.
Well, it has some merit. I mean, it truly is the case that the things that you need for a certain part are actually in that part. That's why you have it in that part.
That's why in Vietnam it's quite popular that they eat the dick of animal.
Oh, so that's what I wanted to tell. If you want the dick, you need to eat the dick. Yeah. So, but does it help? Does it help?
I don't think so, because I'm so sorry, but Vietnamese man's dick is still small.
Well, I'm not.
Although they eat a lot.
Well, it's not about the
but
size.
But lots of scientists said that.
Well, but it's not about the size because
scientists prove that there's nothing. Like they prove that there's nothing in.
Wait a second, but do they eat the dicks to get the size bigger or get them hard?
Get the size bigger and get them hard. Both.
Both?
Yeah. They believe in it.
I thought it's meant to just make him hard. Make him hard.
And they have some kinds of wine with that kinds of special fit food. And they said, if you ring, then your girlfriend will be happy.
What?
If you drink that kind of wine, then your girlfriend will be happy tonight. That's kind of belief.
Well,
so they believe.
That's some folk story. Yeah.
No, they believe in it strongly. That's why they spend a lot of money on it. So oyster, we believe in that oyster will help you to get harder and really strong access.
What's oyster?
Oyster. The seafood, the kinds of seafood like shell.
I know, oyster.
Yeah. Yeah, so we believe in some stuff like that.
But that has some merit, doesn't it? Because I think oysters have just lots of zinc in them.
No idea about.
I think so. It was.
So we have like lots of tradition things like that.
But look at it this way: you have a population growth that is strong, which means you have a lot of sex, which means you need
a lot.
More
doesn't mean that
rhinoceros horns. Because
a lot doesn't mean that good. The quality means nothing about quantity.
Well, but then again,
but I prefer quantity then. I prefer quality.
All right, that's a good move then. But when it comes to the physical ability to have sex often, you would need a functioning dick. So it means something is working for them. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to do it so often, right?
About frequency and productive and effectiveness, and so I don't know. But all Vietnamese girls said that the ability of Asian cannot be compared to American or Western men.
Well, the ability, I mean, isn't it subjective? Because I think Asian cultures have a lot more. Well, since you have a bigger culture, a longer history of culture, you also have some erotic arts, some erotic techniques.
It's just Asian. So
history.
We're really shy. You hardly see any girl who discuss about
shy?
sex, and we're not.
Wait a second. Aren't you?
Yeah. I thought the girl never talk about sex.
I thought
talk about.
I thought all Asian countries have their version of Kama Sutra.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
So what are you telling me about shy?
But like
I thought you almost got it.
We're not culture of bikini.
I thought you got almost taught Kama Sutra in school.
No, we never discuss in public, or like sex is still something really shy, and we still appreciate virgin. So the men want to get a virgin girlfriend, a virgin wife. And if you get married and you're not virgin, then it will be the big trouble.
So what is an average amount for a mother to have? How many children? What is the average? 3, 4?
So in average, I think 2.
Really?
The law said that 2.
2? And you are still a growing population.
Yeah, because it's so young population.
Then it's more than 2. Then it's definitely more than 2. It's just that, look at it this way. If you say that you have a culture that it's not necessarily willing to talk about sexual relationships, open, right? But then on the other hand, you have totally open discussions about why you need some rhino dick in your food. It doesn't make sense to me. How come? Because if the potency is, because if the potency
is, food is good for breastfeeding, this is kind of good for sex, this kind of food. So everybody talk like that. Hey, you are breastfeeding, you are pregnant, use this food, it's really good.
Yeah,
try
and
it.
somebody goes, I want a
you are really
dick.
young man. No. You're
are.
really strong. So why don't you use this one? Because you use lots of oyster. That's why you're so strong. So types of things.
Oh, but it's not really that emphasized. It's just another aspect of everyday life. Because I thought that you meant that it's really emphasized. Oh, you are a man. You need to have oysters. You need to have those to get strong. I thought you meant that.
The restaurant they uses like the marketing.
Well, yes, for selling for sure. That's why not? But I thought it was almost like
it was not that taught or training in school
well,
about sex.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought, that you almost get that.
We don't get education about it.
That you get indoctrinated with rhinoceros dick in biology class or something like that.
Just by rumor, that's why.
Oh.
So we always said we don't get learning, we just practice. That's why we do it in the wrong way.
No, that's the best way of learning.
So like a few years ago, like we still, like Vietnamese girls still shy when talking about condom. And if they saw somebody buy condom, they look at him like he's like naughty.
It's better without, just a better feeling all over.
Nobody loves it, but like that's the way you are open about sex. Like they will shy and their face will turn red if they saw the condom.
And what about the guys buying condom?
So the perception is still like, oh, that's just bad guy, the guy with street girl, or he's bad, that kinds of things.
So it would be actually socially acceptable to not use a condom?
Yeah, just like condom is just for playboy
good
and
move.
playboy
Vietnam,
and like the modern and street girl, something like that. And if you use condom to your girlfriend will look at you like, do you think I'm street girl or what?
Very good. I accept that. For sure. I approve of that, Vietnam. Good work.
Close to nature.
Yeah.
Respect the nature.
Yeah. Because it's
or is it because you lack of knowledge?
No,
how to protect yourself and how to be responsible.
But do you have problems when it comes to sexually transmissive diseases in Vietnam?
Yeah, a lot.
Look, if it's a rash, you already see it's a rash. It's obvious. But do you have any venereal diseases that are
because we have not the beer club, not the karaoke club, not the spa, not the massage, not the everything.
So you mean a brothel? But does that mean you have those bars just because it's illegal to have it officially as a brothel?
Because prostitutes is illegal. Prostitutes is illegal. That's why
that's weird.
Had to put it in somewhere. So it's really popular in Vietnam that you have not even washing hair.
All right. Well,
so
it's just it's just to get the clients. Everybody knows what's up.
Yeah.
Well.
No. Like just that beer club is just for that specific niche and that's it. So it's quite popular. The worker or the doctor or the blue collar, they always go there. So
why not? Why not get naughty? Why not get naughty sometimes? That's what they want. They get their rhinoceros horn. and then go out to the streets. Man, it's really fascinating when it comes to those things, because in a way, real life shows you that you have definitely a total increase in population, which means everything is going its way, and then politically and socially you have those awkward norms, awkward considerations, which is it seems to me I always thought that Asian cultures have that totally out of the way. I just thought Japanese, for instance, they are just very disciplined when it comes to those things. That they are not shy, but they're just disciplined. They want to have order.
Yeah.
Right. So, but you're telling me that that most of the time it's probably the case that they even are shy about those things.
We are not Japanese. We're totally different.
No. I mean, when it comes to Asian culture and sexuality, I always thought all of them, since they are so many times multiplying, they must have something institutionally, or almost like in school. They said, just go there, forget about those condoms, just go out there. I always thought it must be somewhere there, because it doesn't make sense to me.
Sex education.
Well, nobody really does. It's just that it seems to me, when you compare Western nations, they have a stagnant population. They are not really increasing in numbers, whereas all Asian countries are increasing in numbers very fast.
Increase in number doesn't mean that you have good sex.
I'm not talking. Yeah, of course, sure.
Is it because of low education about sex? That's why you have more population.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. That's when you talk about the quality. That's the issue of the woman. In a way, that's well, sure, for a couple in that moment, for sure. But when it comes to the population, it means that at least the man had a good ending. That's it. I mean, if you increase in population, if you have the population growth, it means the happy ending, and fairly often.
It's not.
Fairly often.
I think most of the case because of the dude was drunk.
What?
So
that's another issue. I thought that Asian cultures don't drink that at all.
Oh, forget it. They drink like hell.
I thought that where they drink is where they meet foreigners.
No.
Those places where they meet foreigners.
No. They drink local together, and especially people in the countryside, because they have so much free time. And because we live together, we live in the group. We don't live individually like you here. So we always live together. So we always go together, live together. That's why we want to hang around together, drink together. Yeah. And they have free time, and they drink even in breakfast.
Because look, I knew that almost all Asian cultures have alcoholic beverages. I just thought that they don't really drink them that much.
Oh, they drink really much, and they drink because they have so much free time, and they don't read book. They don't have family time.
Well,
so
I understand what you mean.
They drink quite.
It's the same everywhere, I guess. Then.
Oh, nowadays in Vietnam, like it's a lamb that they drink a lot. So in the past, Vietnamese woman doesn't drink, just the man.
And also doesn't smoke?
No. And now women get to smoke and drink.
And have better sex?
I think so. Better than in the past. Because they're more open and have more knowledge.
So even though those three things are bad, here you have the fourth one, and all right.
But lots of my friends, like when they have one child, and then their sex life finish. I really thought, I don't know why, but I really thought every Asian culture has their version of Kama Sutra almost in the schools. Can you please ask some of Vietnamese, and if they know what is Kama Sutra, then I will give you few thousand. You mean that they don't even know the name? Because we're not the one who educated by educated sex education. Yeah. So we just practice. And do you know that some of my friends said, well, all right, you practice. He doesn't know how to make love, so he just go to prostitutes.
Yeah, but that's
It's his first make love in his life with prostitute.
but that's the thing. If you say, "Oh, we just practice," it means you have an attitude. All right, we just do the damn thing, and that's it.
We do it in not a proper way. We have no knowledge. We have no
And see, that's the
no skill, no thickness, no training, no education.
That's the thing I don't understand. If you have that attitude, oh well, we just do it. All right, you do it.
No, you do it because of
yeah,
your instant,
but
your needs.
Yeah, but most
Not
of the
because
but most of the time, I mean, if you have a big culture, a long history of culture, most of the time, what happens? Some people start writing some stuff down, and then you have books, and then you have doctrines, and then you have.
We don't have the open culture. That's why we don't.
Well, that sounds really, really strange to me, because I always thought, all right, since Asian cultures have such long established histories.
Yes, it means, also because we have the culture of not open for sex.
It means they established some sound knowledge.
You can see the virgin
and books
woman.
About nutrition.
No,
and
because
about
of
sex,
the British.
About living.
No, because of the British and the culture will not motivate for sex. Like you have sex only when you get married. We still now think about that. Like you have to be virgin when you get married.
But come on, probably most of the children are born outside of marriages.
Yes, but in Vietnam we still think like the virgin. You can sell the virgin in a really good price. So the virgin is still. Yeah.
What do you mean by selling?
If you have really bad luck in your business, then you should have the virgin one. Then the bad luck will go. That's the belief. That's why you can sell.
All right.
So whenever your business going down and you have the bad luck, then come.
But it's not that popular, right? It's not that popular.
That's the belief.
Well, all right.
So that's why it's on sales.
So are you saying we need to finish talking about virgins? All right.
We should start it again. That's really nice.
You think
that Asian.
I really thought so. Because here's the thing. I always thought that all Asian countries that have a long history have an emphasis on sexual relations, alternative medicines, and nutrition. I always thought so.
But we don't have education. That's why we have no idea about pre, during. They don't. Hey, listen.
Yeah, but what?
Listen, because like we always have like the man is the king of the house.
Well, that's everywhere the same.
So the man just get drunk and go home. I want sex, and he doesn't care about his partner.
I had my rhino horn. I want.
So he doesn't care about anything.
Can you ask your man whether or not he has experience with rhino horns? Can with rhino horns?
Yes, but
what's the effect?
If he pay, then definitely by the halo effect, he will say, "Oh, it's really good one. It's really work," because he pay a lot.
Because I want to know what's up with that.
But scientists said already nothing.
Yeah, because I think only.
So then forget it. Whatever he said, I still don't believe in it.
Because I only think nutrition and lifestyle would be the factors to determine how strong you are.
No, but also because of the genes as well. Yes, nutrition and lifestyle.
About
genes.
What genes?
Your blood.
What?
The blood. You was born at a strong or a young.
Do you really think that? I don't think that. I don't think the genes don't look. If you would, let's say the twins are those female. Oh, well, let's imagine they would be male. If you would take them 5 and 6 years old, put them into Latvia, get them on the Latvian diet, and do everything else the same, they wouldn't look like traditional Vietnamese people.
Yeah,
I would say so.
Yeah,
I don't think genes play that much of a role when it comes to those things.
But what will happen if you was born as the person who are not strong?
It depends
and
on how.
has no demand on sex. So what can you do?
It depends on how you establish your lifestyle. If you copy the same lifestyle, it means you will just continue the same deterioration.
I mean lifestyle. I mean like you are healthy enough. Like if you drink a lot and you smoke a lot, and you cannot as strong as.
For instance, if you have, let's say, parents who drink, their immune system is compromised, then the child is born, his immune system is compromised. But if that child grows up and doesn't drink and actually lives healthy, I think the genes won't affect. The start didn't affect his further life. It was just a bad start.
But there's some person, they was born with really not strong as such, so what can they do?
Here's the thing, when it comes to genes and perpetuity of good health, I don't know whether or not they had any studies on humans, but I know they made some studies on race horses. Because usually when you have, let's say, a prized winner, a stallion of some races, right? It means that his offspring will be much more expensive because he's a prized horse. And what they found out, it doesn't really affect much. It doesn't really mean that good runner will produce good runners. There's more to it. So the price is, again, that's a price, but what is the value? There's a perceived value that, your father was a great runner, so you will be a great runner. But if you don't have the same circumstances...
The size also come from trends as well.
What size? You mean the physical size?
Yeah.
You mean the body?
The body size or the size of your boobs or your dick also come from genes as well.
Unless you find somebody in Vietnam who is definitely out of the standard. If you could probably, 90 million people, you can definitely find some women in Vietnam who have a rack, or some dudes with a big schlong. Probably can find that.
No, you should say in average and in general.
Well, see, the average is dependent. All right. We are finishing, folks. Goodbye. All right.